direction. Boom, there we go. What's happening, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good. We got 27 on the chat. Thank you guys too for everybody saying where you're from, if you guys would. I appreciate the family on here. I noticed a lot of you guys did. John from Florida, Jim from Illinois. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to go through. Brother James from the 505 here. My brother Martin. Brother Lloyd, the Rocky Mountains. Jason O'Brien, Pasadena, Maryland. Hooked, learn to fish. Hello, everyone. Where are you from, my brother? I guess your name, Luis. Nolan in the house. Sabatini, I hope I got that custom paint. Hope I got it right, my brother John. I don't want to jack up your name, brother. I appreciate you. Brother Jim in the house. Fat Lack in the house. Larry Brown in the house. Steve. Courtney, Scale Customs. Chris in the house. Cincinnati in the house. Manuel from Taos. Richard. Appreciate you, brother Richard. Cars and More. Brother Vince. Lisa. Man, definitely appreciate you guys. Mr. Wim, that's okay. Got you, my brother. Go follow this man, Mr. Wim. Let me tell you, Instagram. Go follow his work. Amazing. Where are you from, my brother? If I'm not mistaken, I met you at the SEMA show, of course. Are you from Florida? Or where are you from, my brother? My brother Steven. Sean in the house. Ernesto. Lovington. Freddie. Good to see you, Freddie. It's been a while, my brother. And Henry in the house. Brother Tom. I appreciate the support, all you guys, for your orders. Wow, my brother. Wow. I appreciate that, Chris. Really, man. Wow. That's my second money that anybody's ever given me for I forget what you call it. Super. You know, all you guys too on here, you guys can always, if you're plugged in, you can donate $5 if you feel like I'm sharing some wisdom with you guys. $10. My brother Chris from Cincinnati just gave me $100, man. I beyond appreciate that, brother. Really appreciate that. Yeah, the super chat. Lamuel, appreciate you. Vincent, appreciate you. Tunes in the house. Man, much appreciated. That's my second one. I think E. Brown gave me like $5 not too long ago. And then brother Tommy from Kansas. So I have the piece that I did last week. Man, I wish you guys could see the crack in it. Man, I'll have to send you guys this individually. I'm telling you, the lighting, I tried to get it to show up. It will not show up the white where I moved it just a little bit. Man, I can't thank you enough, brother Chris. Really, man. Adam C. in the house. It looks phenomenal. And of course, I didn't clear this last week. Man, I'm trying that new clear. I'm actually putting in the order for clear, for silver, for black, for intercoat clear, for reducer, for candy, for all of that tomorrow. Man, a huge, huge order, man. I'm going to really appreciate you guys supporting. Like I say, you know, he had me try a couple other clears. Super high solid. And of course, he broke it down. High solids. A lot of people will claim something as high solids. I really wish you could hear. I'm going to have to get a better definition. It's really, the resin is what it is. What'd you do, my brother? Okay, so Northern Cali. I didn't even know that, my brother. I thought for some crazy reason you were in Florida for some reason. But go follow Homeboy on Instagram, Mr. Wim on Instagram. Go follow his work. He does some amazing work. Even gave me some props the week before when I did that pink piece. He did one. Talk about some interlinking, real cool. I'm talking all kind of the same colors, but just real unders and overs. And of course, he's a pinstriper, lettering, pattern. He does it all. You know what I mean? I'm pretty limited as far as patterns. So I just wanted to kind of share what the piece from last week looks like. Cleared. This is like I say, heavy. I mean, I hammered this thing with that clear. It is heavy, heavy, heavy. We're talking heavy. And even he told me, I could reduce it. Half of what the hardener is, it's 2 to 1. And of course, the 1, it could have went. So if you're mixing up, let's give an example. If you're mixing up 2 quarts, then of course it would take a quart of hardener. And then you could put a pint of high quality, quality urethane reducer to thin it out. This was perfect for flake. Perfect for covering your patterns. If you're going to block them down, sand them down to fill them in. I'll have that available. So, man, I'm excited. But like I say, I wanted to show you this piece. And tonight, let me tell you what's happening, Dad. My dad's in the house. So, of course, we're using the 12 by 32 inch MDF pre-flaked. This is, I think, got the .004, the .008 on it. And I'm going to do a little wax and grease remover on it. Even though Rudy's already wiped it down a whole bunch. I'm going to go over it one more time. You can kind of see it pop up. And I definitely wanted to give a shout out to quite a few people for continuing to share your work with me. A lot of you guys, I know brother Mark Battenfield, he's not even on here right now, but man, he sent me some stuff he's been doing. My brother Steven Mora that's on here doing some amazing work. Same thing, Jay and Maria. Dale was flaking. Brian was flaking. And even Rudy, Uncle Rudy here, came with the board all taped up Saturday. And he was going to start spraying it. And of course, his compressor crapped out. So he didn't get a chance to. And then David from Massachusetts, Jim Crafton, John, I don't want to jack up your name, from Dayton, and Chris Butcher, what he's working on too, same thing, some amazing work. Keep up the good work, everybody. Lamuel, definitely thank you for sharing. I'm trying to think too. I might have left out a few people. I'm trying to think. Nolan too, same thing. Nolan just sent me an amazing piece that he just did. Real nice. I appreciate you guys supporting. And I did want to, like I told you guys, I was going to kind of share some of the stuff that I've done. Every week I'm going to show something that I did that was in the magazine. Instead of, like I told you, one of the Thursday nights, and I'm not doing this to a big head. You know me, I try to stay pretty humble. I appreciate you guys. But I do want to share some of my work. A lot of you guys don't know, what I've done. Like I tell you guys, I've been featured in Lowrider magazine over 37 times, 2 separate articles. This is December of 95. I had 2 things in this one. And just to share real quick, this is the Dazzler LTD 1977, my brother photos. Man, it was the Budweiser of the month. Man, this was, of course, candy gold, tangerine orange. And like I say, this would have been back 19, literally did this, would have been probably the beginning of 95 when I did this. Budweiser of the month. And then it was even the pull-out poster. The pull-out poster. So if you got Budweiser of the month, And the pull-out poster, that was huge back in the day. Huge. So, like I say, this car, I know they just did it then and now where it's at. What's very sad, you know, a lot of these cars, man, these were all done with PPG. We're talking top of the line products. We're talking, I did from start to finish everything the way by the book. These cars should still be around to this day. You got to figure this is 95, 2005, 2015. You know, this would literally be, my math, if I'm mistaken, would almost be 30 years old coming up next year. And it should still be around, but it didn't, you know, between the person I did it for, sold it to his son crashed it, then his son sold it to George, then George sold it to somebody else, and then that person sold it to somebody else. It ended up in Oregon. And like I say, it's just a sad thing to see all of these things just junked, you know. Like I say, to be Budweiser of the month was way cool. And of course, I got to give props. If it wasn't for Elliot Gilbert, he was the editor, photographer at the time of Lowrider magazine. Man, this was like a huge thing. And of course, you know, I just always appreciate that. He would always put the king of paint, you know, king of patterns back in the day. And like I say, so that's that. And then in the same issue, I can find it. And then even in this one, Denver, Jeremy, the son of that LTD, I did this for him. Multicolor. '62. It's just cool, like I say, sharing some history. So Casanova, the second one, this is when it made it in the centerfold in this one. And with this one too, man, this is kind of what made me popular. You know, the ghost patterns I had literally in the patterns. Let me tell you, I had like $300 bills, had girls' lips kissing it, money signs, 300 Zs. I mean, it's marbled, it was torched, it was laced, it was, every pattern had something inside of it. Real intricate, you know what I mean? So that was cool to have two centerfolds in the issue. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys. A little bit of history from the background. And, you know, and kind of, you know, what inspired that, you know, brother Steve, Mora gave me the trifecta issue, which is cool. And then you can look on my Instagram. It's kind of got that one, and it has some of the patterns when they're taped out on it. So, you know, tonight I did want to kind of go. I know a lot of people was really wanting me to share some more the ribbons. You know, I really had a lot of people hit me up on the side about the ribbons. So we're going to do some more ribbons. Of course, whatever, a month ago, we did the common one. The one that usually is done. And tonight, going to do a couple different ones and kind of break it down how to do those. And trying to think what else before I move on. Oh, yeah, and then what's a blessing, too. My half a car, it's going to be, as any of you guys, let me grab a pic real quick. This will be cool. Man, the lady from the Peterson's museum in LA called me. They're doing a whole lowrider exhibit from May 5th in LA to April of 2005. And they want the front clip of my car. It's just a fender and the door. This picture is from the Harwood Museum up in Taos. And man, what an honor for them to want something from New Mexico in the Peterson Museum. I don't know if any of you guys know what the Peterson Museum is. It's one of the biggest car museums in the world in LA. And it's cool. They're going to have a whole lowrider exhibit. Man, just a blessing to be a part of it. So, man, I thought that was something cool to share. So, and then I did want to thank my brother Vince, man. He sent me some lights too, man. He sent me a 10-pack of lights. Man, what a blessing. I appreciate you guys blessing me. It really means a lot. I really appreciate that so much. So, so we are going to get started. Of course, I'm going to frame this. Like last week, we did a little bit something different on the framing. For time purposes, we're going to stick with our usual. I'm going to do the 1/4-inch vinyl away from the edge. I appreciate the feedback too on the lighting, everything looking better. You know, like I say, we're working towards it. And I'm really working on trying to figure out a program where I'm able to share what you guys are working on. To where like right now on the screen, I would be able to pop up what you're working on. And there's a way to do it. And I'm trying to figure it out. So I appreciate it. Man, it's starting to rain over here in Albuquerque. I appreciate that, my brother James. Yeah, it's a blessing. Definitely a blessing. And at first, I was thinking, you know, there was something, you know, they want some more pieces. And of course, I was like, hey, I do a live every Thursday. How about some of those pieces? And she was like, no, we really want car pieces for it from you. And it's just a blessing, you know. And even, of course, the car that I just showed you, that was same thing. That was the same year I did that car I just showed you in the magazine. Is when I painted that car as a 86 Coupe de Ville front wheel drive. I had hydraulics on it. It's one of the cars that I shot that big Flake with the stucco gun. The 1.25 Flake. And same with that other Cadillac in the mini picture I showed you. Shot 2 of those cars back then. Me and Jeremy went in on literally like $2,000 something worth of PPG. It was Deltron Del Glow. We had gallons lined up literally on the wall just to shoot that Flake. That would have been literally 1995. So 1/4-inch away. Brother Jay. Yep, the fishy man. I'll have to break out all of that Flake. I still have some from back then. It's just a ridiculous size. The Flake is like almost the size of an eraser on the end of a pencil. It's ridiculous. And that's what that car that's going in the Peterson's, the fender and the door, that's what it's got on it. And of course, man, I shot like 5 other sizes, and there's big gaps between it. I mean, big spaces. You know, I wish you could, you know, a lot of people want it to look like when you see it in the bag where it's just packed with that same size. Man, that would have took so much. And we were experimenting back then. I didn't even think the candy was going to stick to that Flake because it was so big. It'd be like shooting a mirror and or a piece of glass and you're putting tape on it. Man, it literally did really good. I had like 3 spots on the whole car. But with that Flake, we're talking from door jam, from door to fender, it was molding almost all of the gaps. You had to go back with the razor blade. You had to cut every gap. And you had to go back and shave. Literally spent about 24 hours shaving and cleaning up where that Flake was like literally you would have Flake coming off the edge. You'd have to shave it. Some that were standing up, some that looked like a deck of cards. A lot of work. I mean, a lot of work. Lots of clear. That was literally probably 24 hours straight of spraying. Between silver, between spraying the Flake, between spraying the clear. Non-stopped. And of course back then was meth. So now I'm going to come back. I'm coming back. You know me, I'm hardcore on taping the border right away to where you don't got to cut all of that tape when it's going over the edge. I'm telling you, be smart. Do this. So all those pieces of tape, you don't want to sit there and have to cut every single one unless you're up to it and you feel like it. I mean, I don't know. And then you got to peel it up every single time. To peel each line, you got to get a razor blade to pluck it up when you're ready to lift that tape up. Just do this right away. Be smart. Tape up the border. Boom, boom, boom. So now, like I say, we got Brother Brian in the house. Del Glow Day. Yep, 82. You got it. Like 20% solids. You needed gallons and gallons, I'm sure. Man, actually, let me tell you, Brian. I still got some of that. And it's actually way higher solids than that, my brother. The solid on that 82. And it was 1 to 1 to 1. So it was 1 gallon of clear, 1 gallon of hardener, and you could reduce it all the way to 1 gallon of, so 1 gallon of clear, 1 gallon of hardener, and you could reduce it any amount that you wanted with reducer, which would be literally 1 to 1 to 1 if you wanted to, or if you wanted 1 to 1 just hardener and clear. You know, it was really up to you and how thick you wanted it. That's what I used. Every car you've seen that was ever in Lowrider, that's what I used. Like I say, even that clip that's going to go on the Peterson, that's what's on it. And I wish I could find the hardener. If you know anybody that's got hardener for it, DAU2 would be the hardener. The clear's DAU82. So I'm going to come in with some 3M green. Like I say, this is kind of to demonstrate some other ribbons. So I don't know. We're going to kind of see Brother Mark in the house. Same thing, man. Brother Mark just got through with the job. Whoo, man, real nice. Just got through with the Charger. Really nice. Pink flake. Purple and magenta patterns. So what I'm going to do. So most people... Like, let's just go, let's see. So I'm going to kind of go, in fact, let me lower it just a little bit. And if you're trying to get really crazy, you can measure, of course, from there to over here, whatever it is. We're just going to eye it tonight. Just to kind of give a guideline. I'm trying to make sure I keep this board lined up for you guys. If I need to tilt the camera I'm going to barely tilt it, guys, a little bit. I'm going to make sure that I got it lined up. In fact, I'm going to do that a little bit more. Brian Grubb, I sprayed a lot of that stuff, buffed later like lacquer. Boom. Let me see. Come on there, little buddy, focus in. There we go. A little bit better. So, now what I'm going to do, so you'll kind of see what I'm doing as far as the ribbon. So this is something a lot of people will go all the way. And I'll kind of break it down what most people do to make a mistake at first. And of course, trust me, for me to learn how to do this, I had to make those mistakes. Lots of razor blade cutting when there shouldn't be lots of cutting. So I'm just going to kind of come against this like a decent, like just to get like a little, about 1/8 an inch away. And this bottom line is just to keep it lined up. I suggest you do that. So I'm literally going to go to about there. I'm going to literally peel the tape here. And in fact, I'm going to do the same thing. In fact, you know what? I'm going to take this off just to give you guys an example, let's use, this is just a low tack 2-inch. I'm gonna come across just so we can keep everything lined up. This is a little trick. I mean, most of this stuff, man, I just go by eye. But, so I'm gonna come over here, same thing. Just using that just for like a measurement. Now I'm gonna remove this. Like I say, try to save this, stick it somewhere. I'm gonna stick it over here and use it in a little bit. So now, back to what I was showing you from here. So I'm gonna literally swing this up right here. I'm gonna tear it. And I should be doing this a little bit bigger so you guys can see a little bit better. And I'm trying to think how, yeah, it looks pretty decent on the screen. Okay. Man, just, you know what? Just so you guys can see it a little bit better. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna move that up one more time. Just to make it a little bigger. So I'm gonna remove this one. You guys know I'm super shaky. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay, and then I'm going to remove this. Usually I would have kept it that small. I have some of these on my car. And I like them kind of the size I was just doing. But just because I want you guys to get a better idea. So what I'm going to do, I tore that right there, right? I'm leaving that hanging. Even though now that I made it bigger, I'm going to go a little bit, probably right there, right? I'm going to flap it over. This is important. Now, I'm going to kind of get this out the way just for a second. Now I'm going to come in right here with the second part. This is important. It's going to work all the way down. And then I'm going to show you how most people do it, where there's just millions of cut lines. Like I say, and it's just like I say, it's man, you don't want to do that many, you don't want that many cuts. Of course, do this here. And then back to this even here. You guys want the angles right, kind of like what I told you guys. You could come in with whatever, like I say, usually I eye it, but I want to show you guys, if you do want the angles a little bit better, where these angles are right, I'm going to kind of do that right there. I'm going to do this here. Curve that there for a second. Now this one here, I'm going to curve up right here. We're going to work our way. Same thing. I'm going to curve down like that. You'll kind of see what's going on. Then I'm going to come back. I'm going to do this one. Like I say, we're doing a piece at a time. So I'm coming back up here about 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to just kind of tear that one there. This one I'm going to kind of get out the way. I'm coming back over here with this one. And then you're just going to curve it right there. This is going to be minimal cutting, razor blade cutting. And then same thing here. I'm coming right off of this one. I'm going to swing this around. And then depending on how big you want to space it, and then we're going to curve this up this way, and then back to that. You want to keep your angles pretty good. On this one, I'm just going to eye it. And then literally this too, I'm going to lift this up real quick. I'm going to get him out the way. This is key, lifting all and getting these things out the way. It's key to this. And then like I told you last week, man, your razor blades, some people are X-Actos, some people are razor blades. I've always used a razor blade. Man, I just could never get the X-Acto. You know, I think it's one of those things. So I'll mark it like I taped this one with orange vinyl. That way I know this is my newest one. It's going to wear out real soon. I'll do another one with green on it. That way you can distinguish between your razor blades. And of course this, you can curve it up more if you want. You can keep it about this. And of course this, come back, literally just put it there, lift and cut. Don't even gotta like, on these ones, you don't even gotta like literally run the blade across. So we're doing that. And you can see it's the curling ribbon. You know, it's the curling, twisting. And then depending on the size you want to do here. So like I say, I'm going to actually make it just a little bit smaller. So I'm going to peel that back a little bit.
Is that one line like a 1/16 to do right there?
This is 1/8 inch.
No, the space.
Yeah, well this don't even, I'm actually going to remove this. I mean, and of course by the time it's in, we could keep it on. But it's really, Rudy is asking if I'm keeping this gap, if it's 16th or 8th. But that's really just to be able to keep it straight across. And like I say, depending on what you want to do here, you can make it as small as you want. And you want to kind of get your angle right as good as possible. And so I'm going to do this. I'm going to come about right here. I'm going to tear this up over here. I'm going to just keep that there for a second. I'm going to come back down here again. However you want to tilt it, same thing. I'm going to come, turn it. Depending on how fat you want to make these. And then of course with this, same thing, kind of do want to keep, you know, this one you do want to kind of keep about the same as far as your distance. You know, kind of like we did. I kind of put that there. Boom, boom, boom. And then back to this here. I am going to kind of let it extend past this. I want to measure out how I kind of did that one. I kept about a gap there. So actually, I need to kind of space this out just a little bit more. And you'll kind of see what I'm doing. So same thing, and then just going to turn it here. I'm going to come along here, same thing. I'm going to tear it. I'm going to take this off. Like I say, this is just doing piece by piece as you work your way down. And then same thing here. So this right here, I'm just going to swing in. Boom. There. Then this one here, I'm going to get out the way just for a second. Straighten this back out. Come along here. Twist that down there. Follow it along that. And then same thing here. Then I'm going to show you kind of what, there's a little bit of a difference between the first one I did and this one. So this one here has got a little bit more of a point versus ending right away there. And that's because I actually did the outer line, curved it first, and then the inner line. And personally me, I did it like that so you could kind of see, and I don't know if you guys even tell the difference. This one to me looks a lot better than this one. And it's just a little bit of more turning here versus a little bit more straight here, a little bit more straight here. And there's nothing really wrong with either one, but this one just got a little more curve to it. And like I say, it's just, man, it's a matter of doing it piece by piece. Man, I'll have to show you guys the way most people do it right at first. Brother Dale in the house. What is custom builds in the house? Missed those all subs burritos. That's funny. Yep, the chimichangas. So we'll finish this up, and I'm gonna kind of show, like I say, the way most people do it. In fact, I'll just kind of show that real quick. Man, it ends up a mess of cutting. And this is how I did it. And the problem is it'll start opening up all those cuts everywhere you're cutting. You know, it starts opening up and little slivers of cuts. So a lot of people will go with these lines. They'll put the 2 lines. They'll come in. They will come in. Like I say, I'm trying to show you guys kind of the wrong way. I'll show you how much cutting has to take place. I'm only going to do a small amount. Let me move this back. Guarantee this is the first way you did it. And if you say any different, you're a liar. Just kidding. Because this is the way I did it several times till I figured it out. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to curve that there. And I'm not going to do much. I just want to show you guys. This is the way most people would do it right at first. I'm going to show you how much cutting has to take place. So please follow me on this one. Big Dog Zeke in the house. Denver, Colorado. Brother Jeremy. Linda in the house. So listen to me here. Versus doing step by step in all these working your way this way. This is the way the average person would do it at first. It's like I said, it took me several times. So of course you would cut here. No big deal. And then the problem is here. I don't care if you cut that out there. You got to go in, cut here. You got to cut here. You got to cut here. Cut there. Are you with me? Same thing here. You got to cut there. Let me tell you. In fact, I'm just going to do one small section. You got to come in and cut. You got to come in and cut. I mean, and this is kind of sloppy, but I'm giving you an example. Same thing, I'm going to cut this one. I'm not going to cut too much. I just want to give you guys the wrong way to do it. And trust me, you can do it this way. And of course, I'm not going to cut here. I'm not going to cut here. I'll cut this out the way. I'm going to just lift it. So, cutting here, nasty. Let me tell you, in the heat of the summer, this will split open. If you stretch the tape, it will, when you're really, how do you put it? Man, you want your lines to be nice and crisp. You don't want like a bunch of overlays of tape where you cut. Because you got to think that line goes all the way through. The heat of the summer, man, it starts to move a little bit. The little sliver will come out. You'll see a little point. Brother Anjay in the house. Brother John. And it will split and it just looks nasty. Same thing with this. it'll start to open up. On top of when you got to take it off, man, you're going to have to a bunch of time plucking out tape. And don't get me wrong, if this is the way you got to do it at first, this is the way you got to do it. But I'm trying to show you guys the right way. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. Like I say, that's laying the tape. That's doing each turn. Like I say, and you would cut there, you would cut there. If that's what you want to do. But like I say, it will end up really dirty. We're talking like from a distance, it looks good. Up close, it's like, man, you can see, anybody can see just what you did. Brother Ozzy in the house. So then back to this. I know Brother Ozzy, he's got this down pat. He's got a board too. Brother Ozzy's got a board. He's auctioning, raffling up right now too. He's out of Kansas. Love this guy.
That's the one I won, I think.
No, he's doing,
The other one?
yeah. Yep. So then, like I say, we're working our way this way. So work with me. So back to this. So I'm going to come along. And if you're trying to get the spacing really good, like I say, you could really try to figure out how many. Back to that, like I tell you guys, figure out what the spacing is. Come in here, you know, kind of do it to where you can kind of figure it out. Or you can eye it. Like tonight, we're just going to eye it. I'll do as good as I can. I mean, back in the day, I eyed everything. The only thing I ever measured was like the middle of the roof, the middle of the hood. I would kind of measure out three kind of spacing, the middle marking of the hood, the roof, and then I would measure a couple other measurements, and then everything would just work from the middle out. And trust me, it's human. Is there going to be differences? Sure is. But, you know, it's one of those things. It's like, man, it's next thing we're just going to be, instead of patterns, it's all going to be a wrap. You know what I mean? So, same thing. I'm coming here. I'm going to leave this one to the side just for a second. I'm going to do this back over here. So, I'm literally going to turn it here. Same thing. I'm going to come along. And I'm going to just run it all the way down real quick. Then I'm going to lift this up out of the way. Same thing. This is what it's all about. It's getting these tapes out of the way so you don't have to do that million cutting. If you think smart, tape smart. And then same thing. I am going to kind of measure this up. I kind of did this with about 1/4 of an inch. Yep. Then I'm going to come, same thing. Overlapping, I'm coming about 1/4 of an inch away. I'm leaving this little length here. These ribbons are cool, man. Really cool. I'm going to break another one down after this. So same thing. Just using these lines right here just for kind of a guideline. Same thing. I'm going to move this out the way. And then we could either curve that one in or curve this one down, whichever. So same thing, however much you want to curve it. I mean, you could curve it a whole bunch. See a little bit less here. You know, I'm going to do a little bit more on each one just to give you guys a little bit of a difference. So I'm curving that down a little bit more than I did the rest of them on purpose. In fact, let me go a little bit more and then I'll curve it a little bit tighter. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'll curve this one a little bit more just to see the difference. So now I'm going to get this one here. Same thing, depending on how much you want. And then watch, you'll see each one, we're getting more of a gap right here. So I'm trying to show you guys there's a difference. The more you tweak it, the different of effect. And this doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you want to do it. So see that one, I'm leaving a little bit more of a gap. I'm not going to leave that much. So same thing, coming back. It's taping smart. So see, they're all a little different how you want to do it. Like I say, this is a little bit more square, a little bit more of a flow, more of a twist in. So that depends on how you want it to look. You know what I mean? Just to give kind of a breakdown right there. And like I said, I'm just going to let this run off. And like I say, this here, I'm going to take it up just for the time being. Just so you guys can kind of see, we're just literally using that just for a guideline. You know what I mean? And you can see, it's wrapping. And of course, I love these S patterns. This was my first 2 years of work. Man, that's like really what I did a lot of. What colors are you going to use tonight? That's a good question, Richard. Man, it's like, that's a headache right there, just trying to figure that out. Trust me, me and Rudy. Rudy was like, use golds. I'm like, man, we've used every color. We're done. If you guys ever got those customers I did back in the day, I would do like a tangerine orange. And they'd say like, Rob, hey, don't paint anybody else's car that color, bro. I'm like, man, are you kidding me? I mean, literally. Literally, customers would be like, literally, hey, Rob, don't paint anybody else's car that color, bro. It's like, man, okay, so we got tangerine orange, gold, red, blue. Man, we'll be done, 12 cars, and we're done. It's like, we'll have to call it a day. So you guys kind of see that. And then, and of course, I should have done that lower so I could fit what I'm going to do in more. So then now this next one is going to be kind of like a, how do you put it? Kind of like a snake spiraling down. Like I said, I really wish I would have left some more space, but it is what it is. Let me move this here a little bit more. Brother, go Tangerine. Brother Alameda in the house. Brother Alameda's car is the one I did with the cross on the roof. Okay, so now, like I say, now I'm going to do, and of course, just to give you guys a breakdown, the usual, we already did. I hope you guys, I know some of you guys have, we did the other ribbon. I'm just going to do a very small part of it. Just so you guys get an idea, the usual winding. I'm just going to literally go to there just to give you guys a, what'd you call it, abbreviation of what we've done. What do you call that in school when they're kind of trying to think what they call it, going over what they've studied in the past. A quick skim through. And of course, you guys get it, the wrapping ribbon. We did that like a month ago. Told you guys, I know like a lot of people are hitting me up to do different ribbons. And then, so now this one's going to be a little bit different. And man, some of these are hard. Like I say, there's so many ribbons. Man, there's so many. And of course, you see people do the big winding kind of, they wind it a bunch of different ways. That's cool too. And so even this one, let me see. So I'm trying to, let me see. So this one we literally could do towards kind of wrapping around a sword. And this one will require quite a bit of cutting. That's the only sad thing. And if you can figure it out without, if you can put the dagger through the middle after, it would sure save you a lot. But, man, let me just, we're going to put the dagger. This one, I got to say, man, this one is a pain in the butt. Let me tell you guys. So, in fact, I'm going to go a little bit to the point. This will be kind of the dagger in the middle. I'll make it kind of come to a point. Hopefully there you guys can see pretty good there. Fat Lack summary. Yeah, summary. There you go. So then, like I say, this is kind of a pain in the butt, man. These are literally a pain in the butt. And this is back to, we're going to kind of do, you'll see this is a little bit different. So back to this. I am going to kind of space it. So back to that if you want to measure out, which I'm going to go, because I mean, I don't have the exact tape size I want. But I am going to go about the same as what we were putting the middle gap. And I'm going to keep about 1/4 inch the whole way down. So work with me. Now, of course, I'm tearing it here. Now I'm going to hang a little bit off the edge. Honestly, I haven't done this ribbon since 1990. Woo! Let me tell you. I haven't done this ribbon since 1993. I did it on my brother Jesse's, what was that, Rudy? Beretta? Yeah, Beretta in Tucson. I put a bunch of B-Dogs. He was a blood. The shop in Tucson was in the blood zone. And I put a bunch of girls' lips kissing it, weed, pot leaves. I put like a bunch of B-Dogs with stocking caps. Had like a little stencil I'd made. Way cool. Money signs, marble in the background. So same thing. I'm gonna tear this a little bit here. You guys will kind of get the idea here in a second. Let's see. And the gap is gonna be about the same as the ribbon. In fact, we'll do the gap a little bit smaller. We'll see how it goes. Like I say, it's been a while. So same thing. I'm gonna run the tape a little bit over, a little bit thinner there. I'm gonna remove these, so work with me there. Same thing here. So we'll get going on the first few. So I'm gonna remove this. Boom. Boom. This is the gap there. Let me cut this real quick. Okay. Same thing. This one's going to be wide. This is the ribbon. This is the gap. I kind of did that one a little bit thinner. It's going to go about 1/4 inch. I'm going to leave you a little linked. Same thing here. I'm actually going way too long with these, the wasted space. And little by little, it's going to get a little bit smaller. Now on this side, same thing. Like I said, I kind of wish I'd have did these a little bit bigger, So I say almost tonight it should just be like some taping lessons versus spraying. But same thing, you want to kind of do the same thing over here. Tilt it in. Kind of meet there. See, like this one I should have did longer. It's going to run short. So that's a sad deal. Watch, I'm going to literally do that one over there. So same thing, I'm going to leave a little bit longer of a gap. That way I got enough to turn it. Okay, now it's got enough to turn it. Cut that there, cut that there. And then this is the thing here. This is what's sad when you're putting this through, but you almost need the line to kind of keep the gap. You are going to have to come in. This is the sad part. You are going to have to come in and cut, because it's going to go in and out. That knife blade is literally going to go under, over. Of course, I got to wrap this back one still. And then same thing here. And of course, I could make it to where it goes over and under, but we're just going to keep it towards going underneath each one. It's going to literally go under each one.
Okay.
Some old school right there. You don't see a picture of the Camry?
So I was looking for anything.
I know, it's sad. And I broke out all my pictures. I'm going to start kind of showing you guys some old stuff.
Check out this guy here. You know that guy?
I know, that's a good one. Man, I appreciate it, my brother John. Really appreciate it, my brother. So there we go, twisting. And then same thing. Gonna come back, and of course you guys will get to see what I'm talking about once we bend it some more. Let me do this here. Same thing. You don't want to stretch it too much, but you guys get the idea. And then same thing, I'm going to try to keep what we did here. I'm going to kind of go, this one I kind of did about 1/8 of an inch distance away. So same thing. Of course, I should have just cut that. Let me just cut this one. And then same thing, I'm going to run this. And this one I don't need to run as long because it's going to turn right away. This first one. It's about 1/8 of an inch away. I'm going to keep this one a little bit longer because it's going to have to turn over here. And then same thing, like I say, this one, if you're trying to keep the gappage right, we did about 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to do about 1/4 of an inch and then 1/4 inch of a gap. You can eye it if you want. This one you want to keep a little bit longer because it's got to do the long curve. This side I don't because it's going to be the inner one. So I'm going to remove this one. And of course, if you want to keep these to kind of save them. And then, you know, I did want to show you guys. I know a lot of stuff, man, I end up missing showing you guys because we're on a time crunch. So a lot of this, man, I suggest you guys go back, get a gift card, credit card, go back over your work. You want to kind of press down all of these. You know, always try to go over them some, press them down good. Of course, we're using right now, we're using the 3M masking tape. I'll come in, This works with the vinyl too. Like I told you guys with the vinyl, man, proven over and over and over. If this would have be all vinyl, let me tell you, a lot of people, I don't care what brand you're using, if you're stretching it, it's gonna stretch. Some of these cuts, you're gonna come back the next day, and these cuts are gonna be like literally 2 or 3 centimeters stretched back. You know what I mean? For sure, Brother Brian. Man, I definitely appreciate that, my brother Jim. So, back to the vinyl. You can come in with the heat gun. I'm talking heat gun it. Not if you have masking tape. Heat gun the vinyl. Come back, go. I mean, put it down and it will be good. I'm talking vinyl tape, let me tell you. And this is, of course, the only reason I know, you know, through my meth years, I had some cars taped for 3 years with vinyl tape on them. Kicked to the curb. Let me tell you, kicked to the curb. You know, watch, I think. Man, this car right here, let me tell you. Hopefully you guys can see it good. So this one right here, this car still hasn't busted out. I had this car for 7 years. 7 years I had this car. You know, through some really bad times. Of course, this is when it was painted. This car is still sitting in a garage yet to come out. I finished it. Man, that would be right when I got clean. I think he picked it up. I mean, literally, I just got busted, just got started probation. That'd be probably 2011. It's still, he hasn't done anything to it. Kind of hard times. This car, I had taped with vinyl tape on it for literally 3 years. 3 years. And the tape came off cherry. And even this one, you know, back to this one, it's kind of got a ribbon type of, it's not really a ribbon, but it's kind of like a ribbon wrapping. If you guys can kind of see it. Of course, I always love those colors, man. The orange, kind of goldish, and the purples and violets, and man, really nice. Brother Michael in the house. Late to the party, but grateful. God bless you, my brother in Christ, for sure. But back to this. I always miss to tell you guys. You know, go over your work. Go over those turns. Man, with the gift card, credit card, whatever it may be. Especially some of these turns, man, they'll start stretching. Man, you got to think wintertime is a whole different ball game. Summertime, you're dealing with heat. You know, I don't care your garage, unless your garage is temperature controlled, man, you're going to end up with stretching. There's going to end up things that, you know, the tape is just, you know, it's if you stretched it, it's like, man, it's one of those things. So, like I said, I just encourage you guys to kind of go back over your tape. I know a lot of you guys will hold it down. You know, with tape so things don't move. You shouldn't have to do that. If that's happening and it's pulling back, you're stretching it too much. You need, you know, it's like, man, relax a little bit. You know, calm down. Once you're in so deep, though, sometimes, and that's happening, you have to do that. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to start, because this is coming to a point, I'm going to make them a little bit smaller. So each one is going to have to get a little bit smaller, slightly. And of course, I'm trying not to move the board for you guys. You know me, usually I would be moving, which I should. This is how I'd do it if I was really doing it. Like I tell you guys in the class, man, I'm like, I would never tape on a table, ever. I'm always taping on my lap or on a stool. You know, I got a bunch of IKEA stools with Velcro on them. But this is the trick, you know what I mean? Like I say, move it to where you're comfortable. I'm just showing you guys for an example. Like I say, going to keep getting a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller. So I'm going to stick with that there. It might, same thing in a cut here. And I'm just literally putting it right there. Now, same thing here. I'm going to curve this. You guys are getting the idea though. A little bit smaller. I'm going to cut this here. Lift that there, and then same thing back to this. This is unfortunate. If you had a way to do all of these really nice, shrinking them down little by little the whole way, you wouldn't have to do all the cutting. But unfortunately, like this one, we avoided all the cutting. Like I say, I showed you the wrong way to do it, and then this is the right way. And of course, this here, you have to cut depending on where you want your over and under. And let me give you like another breakdown. I can already feel this razor blade going down. These razor blades just don't last like they used to. And then of course I do need to get, I forgot who shared, was it Nolan or somebody said they got a knife sharpener they use. Let's party. Hi from Northern Colorado, my brother. So, like I say, these are just going through the backside of where the ribbon is twisting. So you got to think, this ain't empty space. This is literally the ribbon flapping behind there. But you got to think 3D looking. This dagger is going right through the middle. And it's just wrapped around that dagger. You know what I mean? And you could do it to where it goes up. We could have done this. This is another example. We could have done... Now, I should have kind of, like I showed the example here, we could have done, just to give you guys an example, pretend that's back in there. So I could have cut this out here. I could have cut this out here, right? Then it could go back under this one, and then it could go back over this one like that, which I mean is cool too. You know what I mean? Just to give you guys an example. You know what? In fact, just to give you guys that example, man, I'm like, let's see. Do I want to do that? You guys get it. But like I say, you could do it over and under. Over and under. So I am going to do that. Just to give you guys an example. So back to this. I'm just giving you guys another example of over and unders. If I can do it, you can do it. How shaky my butt is. So that's literally over, going over it, under it, over it. You know, you could do that the whole way through. Or like I say, or you could keep it to the where we had it. You know what I mean? Which I'm going to put it back. I just wanted you guys to see that real quick. And of course, there's a lot of cutting, but I'm doing it for a reason, just to show you guys. You know me, I'm not a very good believer on thousands of cuts. If you can tear it, tear it. You know, even with this, it's like, man, just rest it over it, rest it over it. Well, man, if you do want to spend all that time over and unders, over and unders. Okay, so back, and I'm going to do a couple, we'll do a couple more twists and then we'll just have it wrap around. But back to this. So like I say, you want to kind of keep with the same program. So this one, we're putting a gap and I'm ending up with about 1/8 inch gap on the side, each one. So same thing, I'm going to lay out this. This one don't need to be so long. That's even going way overboard. This one though needs to be long on this side, short on this side. Now this we're doing, like I say, these gaps we're doing 1/4 and 1/4. In other words, 1/4 of an inch. I'm just spacing this 1/2 inch, using it for the spacer. And then same thing, I'm gonna do about 1/4 of an inch. This one I don't need to go. In fact, I'll go to right here. So now I'm gonna take this off. Same thing. So this one we're trying to get a little bit smaller each time. Little bit smaller each time. And you do want to kind of have it meet right there at that crack. So same thing, I'm going to take this one off. And then same thing here. I kind of pinched that and I shouldn't have, but that's all right. And like I say, we're trying to get it smaller each time. Like I say, this is kind of awkward because I'm not moving the board. I'm trying to keep it steady for you guys. Not try to move it as much. And of course, this one, I need to curve it a little bit more. But you guys get the idea. Same thing, lift it. Now this one here, same thing, I'm trying to get a little bit smaller. Each gap is getting a little bit smaller. In fact, let me turn that one a little bit sharper. Man, I appreciate it. Yes, thank you, Jay. And then, you know, if you guys would, please, man, I appreciate sharing too. And let me tell you, really appreciate the subscribe and like. The like button is huge. That gets the algorithm going. And let me tell you, I think because I do just lives and I'm not putting no like videos out that are edited and everything, which let me just tell you guys, you know, I wanted, like I say, I went out to Adam Paul's. You know, he helped me with that one video, that main one that's got a lot of hits. I can see my big old head getting in the picture there. But he helped me edit that one that's like 15 minutes, the orange and red board. Man, that's got a lot of hits. And of course, that's what I wish I could do. That's a lot of, you know, I'm just not, you know, editing it and chopping it down, being able to take tonight's, editing it down to like 15 minutes, making an edited video of it with the voiceover and putting that out there. That's huge. The lives don't get as much time. How do I put it? They don't get as much time as actual edited video. It's just, it's crazy. I don't know what it is, the algorithm. And because it's like a 2.5 hour video too, that's a whole nother thing. This will be the last one as far as this on this twist, and then I'm going to twist it along. So same thing, I'm going to do about 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to do the 1/4. And then this one I am going to kind of, I'm going to leave real long because it's going to kind of be twist around that whole rest of that pull. Mr. Wim. Boom, boom, boom. Big Vanderslice below. That would be fire. So I'm going to move that one out the way. And same thing. We're just getting smaller and smaller. And now this last one, which I shouldn't have. This one, let me see. Effect. Let me add. I'm going to chop it right here real quick. And then I'm going to add this. Because this is just the end. It's going to kind of just wrap around. Let's see. Get this out the way. Let me see. Let me back this up a tad. You guys will kind of see what I'm trying to do. Just need enough space to do it. I don't know, that's too, personally, I think I'm just gonna end it with the point right here. Yeah, and then we'll end up ending it with the point there. It's one of those things you try and you're like, I don't like the way that looks. Of course, this one here. Let's see real quick. Yeah, watch. Get this one first. Right here. Then man, I'm not liking the way that looks. Okay, wait up. This is the ending, trying to end it. See here. So let me cut this here. Still not really like the way I ended it. So this is just a part of the process too. There's be stuff you don't like, where it's like, man, I just don't like the way that ends. And let me tell you, go with your gut. you could spend a lot of time. Let me tell you guys, you could spend a lot of time on something. And there's a lot of jobs that, let me tell you, I've added something in it where it just killed it, man. Where like so tasteful. And then it's like, there'll be one little part that just is like, man, it's like, man, it just kind of killed the time that you spent on doing that. You know what I mean? Dodge Paint and Body. What's happening, my brother? Randy G in the house. Appreciate it, Randy. Congratulations too, brother, on being one of the teachers for the Texas thing that Tammy's throwing. That's way cool, brother. I know that's gonna be cool. They got so many events, man. There's 3 paint events going on that same weekend. Man, that's gonna be a hard one. There's the Texas Roundup, and then there's Paint Huffer. I think is throwing a class 2 that same weekend in San Antonio, or Paint Masters, I think. It's gonna be cool though, that's for sure. And like I say, this ending is really, which I need to kind of, like I say, drop down. Which that's key. I just want a little point on it. So let me see. I'm going to try one more time. I need to drop this down just a little bit more. Give a little bit more space. I'm just trying to do a little to end it. And I'm not liking the way it looks. There should be a little bit of a space there. So I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller up here to get me a little more space. Okay, and I'm gonna cut this right here real quick. And then I'm just gonna do, we'll put that one up there. Let me see what I'm doing. Just see here. See if this makes any sense. That's what I'm gonna split through. We'll split right there. Okay, and then I'm gonna cut this over here. Like I say, this is unfortunate. You do gotta cut right here. Like I just showed you guys could go over and under, or you could do this towards consistent the whole way. Try not to cut too deep. And then this one, depending on how it is, and like I say, I'm still not happy with the way that's ending. You could kind of wrap to where it wraps and coils, whatever, around a few times. All right, so you guys kind of get the idea there. I know, what colors are we doing tonight? That's a very good question, man. Let me tell you. You get in a mode sometimes, it's like, man, we've done them all, where it's like, man. Okay, so that's that example. That's that example, man. And there's even more. Like I say, there's other ribbons. It's like, man, I wish, man, some of them are complicated. Like I say, some of them, man, I'm trying to think.
Remember that round one? The round one?
Yeah, I know. That's what exactly. Rudy's reading my mind.
You just seen it.
Yeah. Do you see it? Let's see. Yeah, there you go, buddy. Let's see. Let's see here, man. Woo, that's too. I can't even see that thing. Let me tell you. You guys get to see this. This was my car at first, and I sold it to Rudy. Then we ended up doing the multicolor. We ended up doing this one multicolor, which ended up. You got a picture of the hood? There's a picture of the hood for sure in there. So this is out in Tucson. This was my car. I painted it right before I moved from Albuquerque to Tucson. Rudy's brother opened a shop out there in Tucson. And this is the one, like I say, I wish you guys could see it better. It's sad. It's ribbons. And this is ended up my first multicolor. That's the same car. I did the trunk and the hood on it, multicolor. But it had different ribbons down the whole side. Each door had a different ribbon. And man, let me tell you, whoo, my eyes ain't that good. But man, this ribbon is really hard. And to tape it out is even harder. Like I say, I wish there was a better picture of it. Man, that one's a hard one. Man, that one does. It like curves. That one's real hard, man. We won't attempt that one. We'll have to try that one a different time. But man, on that tape design. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. And like I say, I appreciate it again. Thank you, Chris. And like I say, there's different things. And we're just like, this is a ribbon. This is just, like I say, I wish what I should have done just for, this is like, it's kind of the ribbon demo. This should have been in the middle. So I'm going to like turn the board. Should have done this right in the middle. And then I could have done two of these, one on both sides, and we could have added in some detail. So this would be like kind of those random, they're not really in the right position. And then like I say, these definitely want to go back. I tell you guys, some of these designs that are you're turning sharp turns like this, go back with the credit card so you don't get no wrinkles. Kind of to smooth those over. And depending on if it's winter or summer, man, it's really going to help. Like I say, that's like a huge thing. So,
that one? Too hard to?
Let's see. No, that's kind of the one I did earlier. Yeah, that's kind of the one. Yeah, that's a flapper, same thing. That's my usual. Yep. Rudy's got the pictures out, busting out over here. Some of my older pictures. But, that's like I say, another set for the ribbons. How about purple? How about radar blue for color? And of course, we went, last week we kind of did the pinks and purples a week before with the board. And then of course, last week, remember we did do the blues. We did the blues and kind of some of those were purples. So I say it's a hard one, man. And I'm trying to think. I want to add at least a little bit more toward this. Just ain't a total. Here we go. Let's see. Old school. So, ruby red. Oh, yeah. You know what? I do want to use some of the red. Let's see. Let's see, man. You could use some of that 1 millimeter to add some fray look on the end of the ribbon. Oh, yeah, buddy. And what you could go back, like I say, this is 1/8 inch. Let's just even see. I don't even know. I got some of the 16th right here. Just to go and add some detail. If I can find the end. I mean, you literally could go in. That's kind of on my car. I have some of that. I did this same ribbon on my top of my quarters and the top of the hood. So you could come in and add that just for a little bit of detail. Cut those. You know what I mean? And even even of course, you know, going around this, outlining it, back to that. Could come in with some quarter, if I can find my... Oh yeah, here we go. Same thing, whatever space you want to add. And then we could go across like we kind of had just for the line, but you could go back just to kind of add some detail along that. You know what I mean? Come back just to kind of outline it. And that's of course with the 1/4 inch. Could go with the 1/16 inch. And like even Jim said, even going with a little bit of the 1 millimeter. I'm just going kind of 1/8 of an inch away. Now let me tell you guys, I finally got that car. Got that car primered the night before. It's literally right behind me, or in front of me, I should say. So you could go in and do that too, same thing. Just to outline it. Especially when it's painted. Give it some more detail. Could have went in with the 16th inside the ribbons. Same thing, you can come up here and do that to that top part, you know what I mean? Just for an example. But, so that's that. And then literally, I mean, we could come in, we might as well just add a couple little things to it. You know what, while we're at it, let's do skid marks. You guys want to see, I know those are real popular. You guys know what skid marks are, right? So let's do, that'll actually work out perfect just to show you guys. So this board is not going to be an art piece, let me tell you. This is just examples. It might end up looking cool, but it's like I say, so I'm going to come back. In fact, let me go with the 1/8 inch J tape. Thank you guys for ordering too, man. I appreciate you guys. And we're still looking for the lost package. If anybody got a pound of Vanderslice mix, red bag, I think 3 rolls of 1/2 inch tan, 3 rolls of 1/2 inch green. If you received that package and did not order it, let me know. Of course, you get to keep it, but let me tell you, it was supposed to go somewhere else. And of course, I sent, you know, the package back out. I'll definitely admit when I make mistakes. I mean, I did send it, but it probably went to the wrong person, definitely. And thank God he got his package, but it happens. We're not perfect. I appreciate you guys supporting. Like I say, you can get all this tape on the website. The ready to spray candies on the website. Definitely, I'm putting in my huge order tomorrow for actual clear. 3 different kinds. Super heavy resin to super flow to you know, my secret one that I've been using this whole last year, which is like a Matrix 42 copy. Real high quality. Same with the inner coat clear. Silvers, blacks, reducers, candies. So now I'm gonna come in and of course let me measure just to kind of get a good little measurement. I'm gonna kind of do this right here. fact, let me save that real quick. Let me put one more. Let me go with the green. We'll do a couple different skid marks. These are always cool. So
you just selling it clear by gallons, or are you making it at different sizes?
now it's going to be all by the gallons. The clear, the base coat clear will be quarts if you want a quart. If you want silvers by the quart, by the gallon. Super. Same thing with the blacks, whites. You know, I'm just going to have everything to do custom. Yeah, the clear won't be smaller portions. There's no way to break up the hardeners and stuff like that. It will be in the gallons, but the best thing is, man, to save up, get a gallon. That's going to last you, manual, to do a bunch of your jobs. You know what I mean? Man, it's 2.5 hardener, 5 liter clear. The thick one actually will call for reducer as well, man. So you'll get a lot out of it if you're getting one of those. You'll be able to do multiple art pieces, you know, with that. So what I'm going to do now, in fact, let me just keep, so I'm going to run about, same thing. I'm going to run 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch tape and the gap all the way down. 1/4 of an inch. Same thing. You can do these in 2s. You could do them in 1s. You could do them in 3s. You could do them in 4. And you'll see what I'm talking about, the skid marks. Skid marks, or, I don't know, street markings, whatever you want to call them, streaks. Cheaper when you buy it by the gallon. Yes, it is. I know, and it is when you're doing smaller stuff. I know it's hard, man, and trust me, I would like to sell it by the quart, and I'm still, trust me, I'm putting in the order tomorrow, but it costs so much more for me to buy it by the quart. Man, it's a hard one, you know. It's like, man, I want it to be beneficial to me and to you guys as well. So you got to think, man, when I'm doing this, I'm literally trying to, I'm you guys. See, I'm starting to slope. I'm you guys. How would you put it? Let me try to word it in a way. I'm a shopper. I'm not like a manufacturer attitude. You know, it's more like a painter's attitude, shop owner's attitude. It's all about saving money, making things last, bang for your buck, quality. You know what I mean? All of those things. And that's a huge thing, man. Let me tell you, I don't use cheap clear that often. And when I do, it might be to flake something, just to put the flake down or to do something like that. And I still honestly don't even like doing that. I would like to at least use something decent to even do that. You know what I mean? And then I'm one of those ones too at the same time. Let me tell you guys, frugal. There you go, Linda. I'm one of those things at the same time. Man, I don't like spending $1 million on some clear. You know, we won't use no names, but these guys must think like, man, we're like supporting somebody's crack habit. It's crazy. Like the owners of these companies are smoking crack, or they're gamblers or something. And we're like supporting their gambling habit or something, because, man, they're making some serious markup on this clear, you know, on some of these materials. And it's ridiculous. And like I say, I've used just about everything you can. And it's like, man, let me tell you. So yes, hey, let me tell you guys, Joseph, I did finally add to the website. I had time to at least add 4 flakes. So I added the gold hologram. Man, and then Travis, the beef jerky guy, he made me the super cool hologram. It's holographic, even Vanderslice logo. This is the flake. I don't know, Randy, if he's still on here. Man, he just did a super cool job. Inspired me. Super with root beer browns. He did, you know, he laid the gold holographic flake over a gold base. And then some root beer brown, I think, some orange, some gold, whatever. Man, you talk about super cool. So this is an 8-ounce jar. I got that, I think, on the website for 33 bucks. This is a lot more expensive, this flake. The other colored flake I got for 29 bucks, a half a pound, which is a super good deal. Like I say, this is high quality, USA made, thin cut, 0.008. I have the silver listed right now. I have the gold listed right now. I have the pink listed and green listed, and I think red. And the red is just a picture of the big bag that I got. But that's all I have right now is half pounds of it. You want that? Like I say, I need to shoot a piece, and we need to be doing some of this. Hopefully down the road, maybe another month or so, give me a chance to flake some stuff. So now I'm going to do, let me lay one more out. So that'll give us 1, 2, 3, one more out. And then I'm just going to do, like I say, this is more of an example board. And then I'll lay out just a couple of 1/8" at the bottom. Speaking of that, let's do a giveaway. Yep, Cars and More Jobber, yep. I cut the edge sanding. Do they go silver? If I cut the edge sanding, do they go silver? That's a good one on the holographic flake. Any flake, Dale, let me tell you, any colored flake, if you sand through it, it's gonna turn silver. That's the sad thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, Brother Randy said that stuff is fun. That car was the first time trying the holographic gold. What's up with that car, Randy? Is it, you haven't showed anything else? You showed the quarter panel and you left everybody hanging, bro. Backyard boogie. So, yeah, so back to Dale. Any colored flake, when you cut through, that is the sad thing. Man, you got to go back. So let me just tell you. Let me spin a quick second. So if you are shooting colored flake, let me tell you, you need to make sure when you shoot that flake, I always, after I shoot it, and I shoot it with finishing clear. That's the way I do it. I know everybody's got their own thing. They want to shoot it with interco clear. You want to shoot it with the flake buster or whatever. I shoot it with finishing clear. You're going to want to shoot that flake. High solids clear, of course. You're going to want to go back, wait a second, like 5 minutes, depending summer, winter, whatever it is, till it's enough that you can put your hands on it and you can pat it down. So I'll go with the blower. Work with me. I'm trying to think where the blower is. So I'll go back. I'll go with the blower with my hand, right? This is colored flake. I mean, you should do this with any flake, but this is really mandatory on the colored flakes. You give it 5-10 minutes to kind of set up to where it's still sticky. It's not dry, but your fingers ain't going to be stuck in it. You're going to come with the blower. You're going to start whichever way your booth is. You're going to start, if the filters are all the way to the back, you're going to start from the front, work your way up. You're going to pat the flake down. And you're going to end up with flake in your calluses. You're going to have to keep, I'll blow them, and I'll literally get the blower, and I'll be blowing and getting these big old chunks off my calluses. You're going to go back. You're going to pat the flake down as good as you can. If you're just clearing, you're flaking and then throwing the clear on instantly after. There's a lot of flake that's sticking up all over the place. You want to knock that down, and your hand will do that as good as possible. It will kind of tack that flake down. And then you put clear. I mean, you got to just clear. You know what I mean? And that's why it's important to have some good high solids clear. You know, one of the ones I'm going to be selling, it's going to be, and let me tell you, I'm going to break down the definition a lot better. The guy really broke it down. You could claim something's this percent is solids, this percent, this percent, this percent. It really matters on the resins that are in that clear. It could still, you know, he broke it down in a, you know, this is coming to where I'm getting this stuff. This guy's the actual one making this stuff. And you talk about a good definition of, you know, and it kind of blew my mind too, you know, from the solids. And like I say, I'll have to get back to you on you know, the definition he gave me. But man, it was a very good example of, you know, what solids means versus the type of resin you're using and how thick it is, how hard it dries, how soft it dries, how, I mean, there's a lot of different things. So now, like I say, we're going to come in, like I say, and then this, you know, I want to put something there, but we're just going to, you know, this is more of an example board. And so these with the skid marks. So a lot of people see, which I'm going to have to mix up colors. I don't have anything mixed up tonight, but I have some red. So I'm going to come in. I'm just going to tape this right here. This will be your 1/8 inch skid marks. This I'm going to lay literally right here, just I say this board's just going to be an example board. I hate to say. So then I'm pretty key on, you can do them. Let me make sure my pin works. So I'm pretty key on doing this. So I'll come in. I'll get a business card literally. If you're going to do the skid marks this way, come in. I mean, you can eye it too, but I like to measure it up. Some people, like you'll see Kenny and Chrome, he'll do them angled. You can do them that way too. You know, you could come in, do them angled, and you could even do each one to where it's up a little bit, to where like the lower one is up a little bit more than the other one. So we'll give an example of it too. So like I say, this one, we'll come in with that. Like that. In fact, let me back to this. Just so we're getting them straight, because that's a little bit weird there. See, that one's off. So same thing, then you could come in with that, whatever. So I don't really want to get too much into the tilted ones too much. Go back to that, you can measure it. If you wanted an inch gap, you could do an inch gap. You know what I mean? You could just keep on moving this. You want your gap to be even each time. So same thing, boom, mark it. Same thing, and of course this is not, I'm gonna X that out. This is a cool thing for your trick toolbox. I mean, the whole thing. So same thing, I'm going to continue here just to give you guys two examples. Same thing, I'll just go to right here and we'll call it for right there. Boom. And then I should have probably went one more over this way for the tilted ones. Good evening. I just chimed in. I've seen guys sand the clear after flake using 180 to throw graphics over that. What grit would you suggest, brother man? So honestly, brother, depending, like this right here, Julio, is 0.008 and 0.004 mix right here. This one, 320 red scuff pad, and you're good to go. Let me tell you, if it was the Vanderslice mix, or if you're using that one has 0.004, 0.008, and 0.015. That one, 220, and even 180, like they say 180. If you're using even the 0.025, 180, 220, Of course, you need to go back over it though with at least 320 and a red scuff pad. And let me tell you, you could pattern over 220 just because it is clear between the flake, but it is better to hit it with at least 320. I know people hit with 600, 800. Man, I'm just not that guy. I'm not that guy either. I'm not a 600 guy, an 800 guy. It's like, man, I hate to say, there's no reason to even be doing that. If you're doing a base coat, you know, you're doing a production job and you're shooting a metallic, heck yeah, 600, 800 before you shoot whatever sealer, shoot your metallic, because that metallic will show sand scratches. But, you know, for this type of work, man, it's a different story. So now we got those. Let me, real quick here. In fact, let me pour this here. Okay. I'm gonna break out with my touch-up gun. Dialed down. Same thing, I'm gonna get that card out. Depending on which way you want to go, it kind of don't matter, even though it does. It would be like flames. How would you put it? It'd be like flames going the wrong direction. Sometimes you want to where it's like, where you can make it look like the car's going this way, you're going this way. Sometimes it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go this way. Hopefully you guys can see this. Like I say, and these are pretty basic. I'm gonna literally shoot right here, heavy, right on the point, and then I'm gonna kind of fan it out that way. Same thing, heavy. And you could do this with tape too if you wanted. I always use a business card. I'll go heavy right on the edge and then I'll fan it out. I'll just fan it out. Yeah, for sure. So same thing. Kind of fan it out that way, depending on how much you want it to fan out. This is getting used, I mean, a lot. You see everybody, and I hate to say, I really like it, man. It's it really adds some cool detail to your job. Some people are burnt with it. Some people, you know, as any artist, some people are burnt with so many techniques. You know, there was a while, you know, if we were to break it down, let me tell you. So you got to think, the Good Times Vans, all of that, really is where a lot of the lace and the fish scales and like all of those things were really like at its prime. You guys remember the Vans, 70s. I mean, they were doing lace and everything you can think of, torch, all of those things, marble, the webbing. Man, those got so much, and it kind of went out for a while. All of that stuff, and I gotta say, none of that stuff went out with me. I just made it smaller. They would do whole panels with lace. You know, I started doing just every little pattern had something inside of it. And what, you know, everybody with me, I'm like kind of the tasteful overkill. You know, my mom always tell me less is more. I mean, that's just not my motto. Apparently, I need some help. Like this one here, that was the first one I sprayed. I'm going to spray a little bit more color, depending on how you want to do it. And then same thing here. Let me get a little bit bigger. And I'll use something a little bit bigger. Let me tell you, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures. So I'm going to come in. This is the angled one. Same thing. And you can go as dark as you want, as light as you want. Oh yeah, that's where the one I don't want to do. Same thing. You can go as far as you want. You always want it kind of dark right at that edge. Pretty dark right there on the cut of it. Same thing. I'll kind of dust it out a little bit. You can dust it out as far as you want. Like even here, you can come back if you want a little bit farther. You don't want to go the whole way, even though you could if you wanted. And then let me tell you, man, I used to do these back as far. Man, let me tell you guys, I'm talking, I know this is something that got real popular, you know, 8 years ago, 10 years ago. Let me tell you, this is a roof. This is a roof I did. This would be 1995. If it'll show. You see right through the middle, and of course this has got ribbons. This is a roof I did. This would be literally 1995. It's got kind of the gold ribbons, and then it's got some of these kind of going through the middle, a little bit bigger. Man, these have always been huge. I've always loved doing those. I mean, I could pull out all kinds of stuff from way back with just different stuff like that. Now check out this one while we're on it too. This is actually probably one of my favorite paint jobs of all time. Hopefully you guys can see it good. I'll pull out the magazine it was in next week or the week after. But this one, San Jose car. So hopefully you can see it and it's not glary. So this has got Old English, Sanjose, which is one of the gangs here in Albuquerque. I don't know if you can see it. And of course this job I did, this is back 1995, 96 too, same thing. Sanjo. Lots of detail, lots of little fades in there. But so now back to this. Like I say, we're just gonna give, like I say, this is just an example of the skid marks. So I'm gonna lift this up, kind of give you guys an example of how that turned out. I'm gonna put this right here. We're gonna conserve. Back to this. There, we could shoot along those lines too, but just really trying to show you guys kind of how those look. You know what I mean? Yes, a giveaway, Brother Brian. Okay, so how many do we have on here? 77. So the closest one to 80 will get some colored flake of your choice. And I'll do, let's see. Yeah, we'll do a shirt and some colored flake. Vanderslice shirt. In fact, we'll do, Rudy's got his shirts in. We'll do an innovative style shirt. Huh? Yeah. So, innovative style. Let me tell you, man. Of course, these are just the stickers.
go grab a thing.
Yeah, for sure. These are cool, innovative styles. And that's what the name of my shop was when I first opened. When I moved out to his brother's, I gave the name to them out there and moved back, and everybody just always used to call me, hey, Vanderslice did that. So I was like, you know what, man, I'll just give that to them, and I'm gonna stick with Vanderslice. But innovative styles, that was it back in the day. So you guys kind of see what we did here. Boom, boom, boom. Michael, this is good class, so much to learn. Brother Legs in the house. So you guys kind of see that there. But way cool. These are some high-end iron-ons. It's kind of like the DTG or whatever, but it's, I don't know what you want to call it. This is super high-end. My brother Tommy, Black Label, he does these, does all the stuff for me for those. So you get an innovative style shirt and a whatever color flake you want. I'll do 4 ounces, 4-ounce jar. So a shirt and some flake. Closest one, Rudy's picking the number in between 80. Good luck, everybody. So now we got these ones. Like I say, this is a sample board. Skid marks, whatever you want to call them. I always call them skid marks. It kind of looks like the street, you know, the street lines. And like I say, these are cool too, the tilted ones. Way cool. Always some detail you can add to the middle of your design. Something you can add, you know, around it. And so now, and I'm trying, so hopefully you guys can see. I don't know, that's the only sad thing. I don't know some of these pictures. So now what we're gonna do, it's a little bit of a delay. We're gonna do those ones right there. If you can see those 3, let me kind of get a pointer. I don't know if you can see them. We're gonna be doing those right there in this space right here. So, and of course, back to this. Let me see, watch, we got 3 there. We'll stick with 3 there. I'm gonna break it down too, watch. We'll break it down to even just a little bit bigger. Is always cool too. Let me fatten this up just a tad. Like I say, we're just example board tonight. So I'm gonna make this just a little bit wider, kind of to show you the way I used to do it back in the day, where it would be just a little bit wider. So back to that, I'm gonna come here just to protect it. Same thing. That's what's good about this low tack when you need something quick. And of course, I mean, you could put 2, don't get me wrong. If you're gonna try to reuse this as much as possible, you could go back with like the white paper with some lower end masking tape. So same thing here. Back to this, we're just gonna real quick mark. You guys get it? Just a little bit fatter. It's got a cool effect too. Back in the day, like I say, I used to experiment. Man, it'd be cool to go through some of the stuff. Some of it, man, it's just, like I say, a lot of the stuff, man, we were still innovating back then, trying to come up with different stuff, cool stuff. And then you got to think, man, it's like I tell a lot of people, man, a lot of my awards should be taken away because I was doping. Working hours, count, just adding and adding and adding and adding and adding more and more and more and more and more. So I'm going to come in with a little bit of black. same thing. You go thick right on the edge. Get it to where it's real dark. And then just fog it out. Fog it out. And this is just cool stuff. You can add detail to whatever you're doing on whatever scale, small, big. Like I say, the middle of a roof, middle of your art piece. Imagine this black has been in this gun since last week. This is my old faithful. And then back, say the same thing if you want to go a little bit more there. And then even, like back in the day, let me make sure this is, you could come in the other direction. You could literally come in the other direction right here. A little bit of white. A little bit of white right there. You go just a little bit past. I'm just barely shooting a little bit right. And it kind of gives it like a beveled look. Just a beveled look. And like I say, this one you really almost need to be here again. Like I say, man, I really... What size compressor and paint gun do you use, brother? My compressor, my brother, I'm just using a Harbor Freight 29 gallon. It's one of their higher ends. They don't even sell it no more. I really need a tank to fill that, you know, a dead tank to where this one can be filling a dead tank. But man, I get by. I mean, it's not going to shoot a complete car. It'll shoot half a car, and I got to let it build up. And then I can finish shooting the rest of the half with the 29. But it does the job, my brother. I have all kinds of guns. I mean, mainly Harbor Freight. You know, I was blessed. A few people. This is my main go-to gun, my Matco touch-up gun. One of the brothers bought me a couple of these 3 weeks ago. Blessed me with them from Amazon. Really nice. I got a bunch of different ones. Brother Rudy bought me a Black Widow. So, and then a bunch of the green ones. I mean, that's our whole point, is to try to get by with what you got. And there's a whole bunch, like let's say, back to this. I'm just showing you guys examples for tonight. You could go back to same thing. You could go in and put some points. You could go back and shoot like little arrows, little points, if you get me. Same thing to add some detail. So I'm going to put that there. Put that there. And then same thing, I mean, I could come along this edge. We could come along it, shoot a little bit. With whatever, just to kind of highlight that line to where it's not a waste. So watch, I'm going to just come along this. I'll just shoot a little black just along this. I'm just barely shooting. Should be very, very transparent. Black, just to kind of accent that line to where it's not going to waste. I like to use all my lines. Let's say I would have lifted this up. It would just be literally that design versus having that little accent there. And of course this one, I'm going to wait till we do this one before I take it off, and you'll get to see kind of the effect. And you guys can kind of see the beveled look on it with that white. It's not the usual just where I shot the black. It looks really cool. It looks like you know, kind of beveled looking. Real simple. Now this one we're going to come in. I'm going to tape this back up here. In fact, let me flip it this way. And let me tell you, if you got to do multiple of these, try to keep your tape with it marked. And you can try to line it back up. And of course, I'm not really doing that here, but I am going to help to use these for a line. So now this one is a little bit different. This one, I'm going to come in. We're going to swing depending on which direction you want it to go. So back to this, you want your angles right. You want your spacing right. So let's say I am going to utilize these lines. So I'm going to go to there. Then I'm going to swing down. We'll just go, I'll kind of come over here about this far. And then same thing, I'll swing it to there. Same thing, I'm going to go down 3. I'm utilizing those lines that we did. So same thing, curving it there. Same thing over here. We'll swing it, curve it, and we'll do one more here. Kind of curve it out. Now this, and then this, I actually want, I'm going to curve because we want it to round. We want it to round at the end. We don't want it square right here. So I am going to swing it. Once I have got them all lined up, I'm going to swing it. You don't want it choppy right there if you can get me. So we're going to swing it to where it lines right back up with the green there. Same thing here, watch. We don't want it choppy there, if you can see what I'm talking about. We are going to swing it back out with the green. Of course, this going there doesn't matter. You just want it round right there. Same thing here. Curving it out there. Now, this is going to be cool too. Same thing, way cool. This is a whole nother like super cool deal. And then this one, let me tell you, I'm afraid of getting a little overspray. I know this is still 2 inches away, but because I am using the touch-up gun, if I was using an airbrush, it'd be a different story. I am going to use one more. Just to be on the safe side. You don't want to get that dirty, you know what I mean? So now this, depending on which way you're going with it, which I'm going to do this way, this way, this way. So what you always want to do, we're going to work from this way, this way. You don't want to work this way and then you're having to tape over it. You always want to work whichever, kind of like we did this way, the other way. You don't want to come and then you're going in. You want to be able to spray, move away, and just keep a flow going this way. You don't want to go to where you're actually spraying and you're having to go over each other what you just sprayed. You want it to let, and of course this one we're going backwards, if you understand what I mean, because I got the curves going this way. I don't want to shoot. Of course, it's hard for you to understand what I'm talking about till I do it. If I was to spray this way, I'm trying to get this part of the design. So what we're going to do here, we'll do our first one here. So same with this. I'll get me kind of like that's good enough right there. I should make it to where I can keep moving them. Yep, there we go. Okay, cherry. Now this one I will do with red again. You can do with whatever you want. So same thing. Hopefully you guys can see. Yeah, you can. So same thing. I'm just going to come in an angle here. You want to get it real heavy. And of course this one, out of all the stuff I talked, of course you guys get the point. This one should have, I didn't curve it enough right there. There we go, cherry. So I'm literally going to get it a little bit heavier there. I'll shoot it out that way. Cherry. Okay. I'm going to move this here, over here. Make sure you ain't got no leakers. There's a possible leaker right there, but it does look like I'm good. But you know what? Just to be on the safe side, just in case. So this is what's cool. So this takes 1, 2, 3, 4 lines to do a 3-line what we're doing. This is like, man, so cool. We're talking like, so you do want to get dark here. Back to that. Let me tell you, on my brother Alameda's car, the one that's got the cross on it, I have these. I left a big enough gap to where I spaced it. Watch, I'll kind of show you guys, man. Because this, a lot of people do this, but then, you know, like I tell you guys, a lot of things have been done, so you got to add detail to them. You got to do the next level. You got to go in and add like another little thing. So I'll kind of show you. This is the usual, and you kind of want to fog it, but you don't want to go all the way. So then same thing. And then try to move this whole thing to where you can just keep moving it. So same thing, real dark right along here. Depending on how dark you want it. And then you kind of just fade out. You know what I mean? So same thing. You guys are gonna, this is gonna be cool. This is like, we did the mini skids. We did the big fat skids with the 3D white, which you could candy over those. It looks so cool. Back to the whole bevel. Just something simple. You know what I mean? But just such a cool effect. Like I say, I'm just going along the edge here, fogging out, fog it out, fog it out. You know, I'm giving you guys a, you know what I mean? And depending on how far you want to fog, you don't want to fog all the way to the end, but you do want to keep your, you don't want to keep your like fanning out pretty consistent. Same thing. So then fog it out, fog it out. Kind of take a step back, make sure you got what you want. Make sure you're staying pretty. And then this one, because it just ends and it's not lined up, I'm gonna come back in. I'm gonna just kind of fog the edge. We're pretending like, you know, that one's just going behind the border, which it really is. So now, like I say, man, with Alameda's, I went back. Of course, I waited till it was dry, which feels pretty dry. So I went back. Like I say, they were a little bit wider. I used a little bit better space. But I went back, right? In fact, let me use, we'll do, so you can kind of go, and I'm just using this just for an example. So I'm going to turn this in. This is like just the next level, and I should only do that like on one so you guys can get kind of the effect the simpler way and a little bit more complicated. So we'll do that. I'll do 2, kind of how I did on Alameda's. And Joe's truck, we're hoping will be truck of the year this year. That one's got some of this too, where I went in double, kind of put double the detail. So now I'm coming in with 16th inch. I'm coming right in between. I'm gonna go all the way down, 16th inch, right through the middle. Same thing, 16th inch, right through the middle. And of course, on his, what I did, Crooked Jake. Boom. So 16th inch in all 3 of those, right through the middle of kind of that 1/4 inch gap that I left. Which it would be better, which I mean, this is still cool. It'd be better if it was a little bit wider, but it's way cool. I mean, this is still gonna work out. So with his, of course, I did orange for the first one, and then I came back with red for the second set. And now what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna come in with this, and I'm gonna use black this time. Like I said, it'd be cool if this was red and the orange, whatever, but this is gonna work to give you guys kind of what I'm talking about. So I'm literally just coming in. I'm not trying to get too crazy. I'm gonna hit that edge again, kind of hard, and I'm gonna same thing out a little bit. Good enough. Same thing here. Line your, I mean, definitely utilize stuff like this all the time, man, to where you're not wasting a bunch of stuff. Same thing, coming back in, heavy on the edge. Fan it out, fan it out. You don't want to go too far because we want the kind of red to still show. So that's kind of an example there. And of course now, we'll take this off. And like I say, this is something too, you got to kind of be here to really get the idea. But hopefully you're able to see what I'm trying to achieve here. So now you kind of got that little detail in there. I might have to lift the board up to the light, but now I'm going to take off the rest of this. So boom. Okay. And of course the magic ain't going to happen until I take these off, and you guys will see it. Be like, man, that's sick. Or you'll be like, man, that's a joke, man. What's this guy doing, man? This guy's a crackpot. This guy needs to go back to finger painting, kindergarten. So this, back to this, let me take this off. Be careful when you're peeling, of course. This is the low tack, man. Definitely appreciate you guys. Same thing here. Now this, I'm gonna utilize one more time before we take this off, and let me listen to what I'm saying here. Like I said earlier, I could have just how do I explain this to you guys? Okay, so I could have just took this 1/4 inch of green that we had on here. Work with me. I try to utilize every little bit of tape. If you taped it, man, try to utilize it. So pretend that was still on there, and I sprayed this middle section. Before I sprayed this black little just fade right there. I could have took it off and it would have just been an empty space, and then you wasted the whole edge of that 1/4 inch on this side. I mean, you're getting it on this side, but you wasted the whole edge on this side. And that's why I shot a little bit of black, like I say, and I could have, while we had this on here, with the 1/8 inch, same thing, could have taped up, shot a little bit, just to kind of get the detail from the tape. So my whole point is, before I untape this, I'm going to literally come back. And like I say, this board is really just technique. This ain't like a board where we actually created a piece of art. I mean, it'll look cool, but it's like, it's really just examples. So back to this, whether you want to shoot red, I'm just utilizing that edge there before we take it up. Depending on whatever color you're using, whatever you're doing. Okay, so now you guys will get to see kind of what we did this whole time. I know sometimes you guys are probably like, man, what the heck is he doing? So we're gonna take off that one. And now what's cool, this will kind of give you an example. So now you guys have got literally, okay, and then of course Rudy, he's in talking to my daughter. I know we got the numbers to give away. Okay, so what's up, girl?
Hi, everybody.
What is it? Okay, so the number is 47. My daughter says hello, everybody.
Hi, love y'all.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, there you go. How you doing, girl?
Good.
Did you guys win?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in other words, you lost.
We lost by like a few points, but we won our last one.
Well, good, man. She's a basketball. She's a b-baller, man. So, you guys see how that looks? Who got 47? 47. Did anybody get close to that? 47 gets it, or anybody close to it? Hey, Evan is 47.
Evan?
Yeah, Evan. Not Evan, but Evan. Yeah, not Evan.
You find one or what?
Yeah, 47. Congratulations, Evan. As long as there's nobody else that had 47 and you guys want to box online. Of course, there's no boxing online. Yeah. Congratulations, Evan. Definitely, brother. I appreciate it, man. Okay, what do you guys think about that? Like I say, this is just adding some tools to your toolbox. You got the skid marks, tilted skid marks. You got, with 1/8 inch. Then you got a little bit wider with black going this way, white this way to where it looks beveled. And of course, even this, I mean, it could be, if I wouldn't use 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch, it would have looked way cool. And then you got this. Hopefully you guys are able to see. And like I say, if these were a little bit wider, man, it looks even cooler. And like I said, on Alameda's car, I did to where it's red or orange, and then those black ones were red. Hopefully you guys get to kind of see that. And here's just your usual, the little bit easier way to do it. And then you can add a little bit more detail. And like I say, the more space you got, the more stuff you can add, which is cool. Like I say, to shoot that way, just to kind of share with you guys on that. And then, so back to the ribbons.
So on the red ones, you just turned the tape. Is that what you did?
Right here?
Yeah.
You weren't paying attention?
He was talking
No,
to me.
no, just kidding. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, so it's turned. Go back and watch the video.
I know.
No, just kidding. All right, everybody. So let's see here. So now with the ribbons, I mean, and you could do anything. Like I say, we could have added stuff. I'm not going to take up, you know, this was mainly to show you guys a couple different style ribbons. You know, there's a couple different things we could tape. Literally come in. And back to this, you could do the easy route too. You could literally just shoot over all of these edges. That's the simple way to do it. That's plan A. Go over it with the airbrush right around each line. That's plan A. And then you could tape it. And of course, we're gonna go in. Let me see here. Come in with some 1/2 inch. Real quick, just to get those little points. This is enough to kind of bend. Like I say, the 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch is key to your arsenal. Boom. Same thing, just quick.
Are those skid marks where that you get the same effect with airbrush or not?
Yeah, with the airbrush, you could do the same thing with the skid marks.
And that white and black stuff?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah. Yeah, same thing. You could do that with the airbrush, touch-up gun, whatever it is. Now, same thing here. Of course, I don't want to get overspray over there, so honestly, back to that. Just in case, if you're using an airbrush, no problem. But I'm kind of heavy on the pressure. Everybody's got their own style. They've got their own way. Just to be on the safe side, I don't like little fades weighing half your pattern. Hey Rudy, could you get a charger for this one? Looks good to me. Boom, boom, boom. Bust it out. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So, same thing. I'm going to do the same thing down here because I don't want to. I'm just telling you guys, I could go in this detail, lower the pressure. It would be good. I'm just telling you guys, there's lots of times you think you're good and you spray it, man, and you'll see a line on some of your pattern work over there where this orange tape ended, man, and it's over fades that you just can't get it off. Man, you'll be upset. So always make sure to protect. Never take a shortcut on that. If you think you need to protect it, protect it. Like I said, if you're in an airbrush, the 2-inch tape would have been fine. Could have went over it, whatever it is. And then same with this. I mean, you could put something inside this, or you could just shoot it. You know what I mean? So same with this. This could get done a bunch of different ways. You know what I mean? And of course, I'm gonna go in. I got the red mixed up. And back to that. I'm gonna come in. I'm just coming in with the touch-up gun, coming across all of this. This would be brandy wine. I'm not gonna put it full color. And I should have done around the edge on a few of them just to show you guys the example, but you guys kind of already know. So like I say, I'm kind of just going over it. Full blast there. We'll let that just set just a quick second. Yeah, for sure. Cherry. Yep, tape is cheap. Repainting something is not. Boom, boom, boom. So, let's see what we got here too. I like the black and the white graphic the best. Brother Travis. Man, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you guys, man. Okay, so with this too, same thing. Like I say, depending on how much you want. And we could have went, like I say, you could have went around the edge. Like I say, you could have put something in it, lace. You could have done something in there, whatever. Just for time purposes. Now this here. Yeah, except for I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But, I mean, which it would be cool. The lace would be cool in there. And now I'm going to wait just a second. Still a little wet. Still wet. This is when you get in a hurry. Definitely, if you guys would, man, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Man, hit 9,000 subscribers. I don't know when, man, this last week. I appreciate you guys. Like I say, you know, if there's somebody you can share, it's like, hey, check this out. This guy, you know, teaches. And then I definitely want to appreciate Chris, man, for that, I forget what it is, the super, blessing me with some, the super chat, blessing me with some funds. And I forget who else did too earlier. Man, I definitely want to thank you guys. Let's see, let me go back. My brother John. Man, definitely appreciate it, man. Thank you, brother. I mean, really, that means a lot. Let me tell you, even being monetized on YouTube with just going live on the Thursdays, let me tell you guys, I know you think people make a lot of money, and it depends on how many people's watching, how many people's watch it. I make about $50 a month, you know, for being monetized. I'm hoping that's going to continue to grow. You know, I appreciate it. You know, if you feel like I'm sharing some stuff with you, and a lot of you guys, man, bless me by just even showing me what you're working on. Man, some of your amazing comments, I appreciate it. So I'm going to come back in right here, and you could literally do this. Usually I will. I'll avoid taping this, and I'll just go in with the gun and shoot black in there. But I'm going to come in right there just with a little bit. I'm just going around the edge. And then we're still going to have to get the line that's hitting and the line that's hitting this way. Once we peel it back, we'll get that one. But this is just our initial little shading. So same thing, if you can use this, of course each one of these curves a little bit more. So you can see there's a little gap there. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do the same thing here, but like I say, I'm going to have to add a little bit right there. We don't want no leakers.
So the color Flake, change the color candy over.
Yeah, if you candy over colored flake, it will change what the color is.
Somebody had box over here.
Underpaid for sure. Definitely, man. It takes a lot, man. Let me tell you, man. Like Adam, man, that guy's on it. Let me tell you, he's the one. You know, you guys know Time Warp. Of course, he's probably live right now too, or he's already finishing up. Man, I love Adam. He, our class in Albuquerque, it would have been 3 years ago. He hit me up, and I know when somebody's got a new product, you know, I always went through a little phase where it's like, hey man, this is my work. Could you send me a sample to try? I remember he sent me one of his first rolls of tape. Let me tell you, Adam, if you remember, he did each card in the background. Man, let me see if I even still got that. So, of course, I don't have the tape anymore. Let's just pretend this was in there, right? So, this was his very first tape, and it came in a brown sleeve, like kind of how would you say it? Like a grocery bag brown. And he did every one of these boards in the background. See the little pattern? By hand. I think he had like a thing he'd lay out, and he shot each one by hand. Just to give you a small example, which was so cool to tape. And like I say, this is one of his very first ones, man, 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm getting to a whole story, of course. So Adam hit me up. We were throwing the class 3 years ago, and he's like, hey man, can I send you some giveaways for the class? And I was like, heck yeah, man. I was like, man, that's way cool. And then he told me a few days later, he goes, man, how about, would it be all right if I came down for the class? And I was like, man, heck yeah, man, we appreciate it. And I didn't realize how big he had got in between that time. And I really didn't even know him that well. You know, I just known that he was the lime, you know, he is the line tape. I mean, that's all he sold it first, was just literally the tape. And he came down, and his main thing when he came down was all about marketing yourself. And I said, man, please, if you could spend your time on sharing how to market yourself. And man, I really soaked it up personally myself. You know, he is like, hey, I do the YouTube deal. This is how much I make a year. This is how much, you know, some of his videos, I think he said the one where he does that, what do you call it? I forget what it's called. It's like the mural, but he does the wet. It's the mural, but it's on paper, and he puts it on the tank. The transfer. Man, that one he made. Hey, thank you, Michael. Appreciate it, brother. Really means a lot. He did that one. I think he said he made like a few of the months. He made, if I'm not mistaken, I might be misquoting, but he said 1 month he made like 10 grand from YouTube. For I think one of those, because it hit like 1 million views. It was just, so he shared like the algorithm, a bunch of stuff with me. And literally I took advantage of it. Man, I went up, spent a couple days with him up there to, you know, for him to show me how to edit that video. He helped me make that video. And like I say, man, that is his thing. Let me tell you, he's like a marketing master, super good at what he does. He puts a lot of content out, and you know, it's like, man, it's like I say, definitely a blessing. Him and his wife Ashley, like I say, I went and stayed at his shop. A lot of people noticed that video. It's like, man, that looks like Adam's shop. Man, I stayed on a couch out in his shop. Man, they treated me, I mean, took me to dinner, all kinds of stuff, way cool.
There's no lights like you did in Spain.
Oh, really?
There's no lights in Spain.
Wow, crazy. Must be nice. I'm glad he's taking a break, man. Nolan Lane, he's gotten real good with the edits on the video. Exactly. Let me tell you, Nolan, that's what I need to do is get... He showed me how to do it all. I took notes, and it's like I came back, and the best way I could put it, my brother, is like you're scared to put your feet in the water. You know, just like you guys that take the class. You know, a lot of you guys, you know, you take the class, and then you're afraid to get started. You buy some of the stuff to do it. I want to encourage you guys, man. Put your feet in the water. Dive in. You know what I mean? A lot of you guys have bought stuff to start doing it. You just need to do it. That's it, man. Just start doing it. You're going to fail. You're going to learn. Just like me. If you think I figured all this out, if you think I figured this all out overnight, man, you got another thing coming. You know what I mean? And so you kind of see what I did there. You know, just twisted there. And there's still more to it. So... like I say, so I'm going to come back and I'm just going to go with the black along this. Like I say, you know, it'd be cooler if there's some other, you know, if we're using some, of course these are cool too, but your use of color is really important. Of course, I'm just kind of going back, and I'm going to do this just to get benefit from the 1/8 inch tape there. But let me tell you, man, from Adam literally selling tape, taking that leap of faith, putting some effort into it, making these labels, selling the tape, to look at what he's doing now. Man, you know, he told me, it's like, man, Rob, I expect, this was 3 years ago. Man, it's like, it pays off. He's at Amazon, all the videos he does. It's, man, I think even on, I guess Amazon's got like a thing too, or teaching too. So let me see where my razor blade went. It disappeared. We're almost done, guys. Oh, here we go. Nope, here it is. Guys, so now this is that whole taking it. How do I put it? So I'm going to lift here, right? I'm only going to go to about right there because I still need to spray this one, so I don't want to take it anymore, and I still need to spray that one. So I'm going to go to about right there. Now back to this. You could make a bunch of cool, let me see. So like I say, you could make, which they even sell stuff like this, but man, I always just make my own. So you could either tape this, you could tape each one, you know, or you could even just, like I say, you know, I make a bunch of cool for different angles. You know, you can do different things that'll kind of get you through whatever angle you got to do. And of course with this one, you know, I'm going to need a little bit something different. You know, I'm just giving you guys an example for this. But you can cut it back to that to where it's like, let me see. So let me do this. Except for I don't want that showing. So let me do, just to give you guys an example. And of course you want to get that cut. I got the way wrong angle. I'm just giving you guys an example like what. So this is going to kind of come out a little bit more this way. Boom there. To do that. But like this you can do for different things. I mean, you know, depending on what you're doing, different shading. Man, some of the jobs, man, there's so much little places you got to go back and shade. It helps to have something to where you're not having to tape. So just to give you an example, we could do that. Or you could just go in with the airbrush. Like lots of times I do. I'll shade with the black right there. Man, it's like boom. But if you want clarity, You want some clarity, you could either tape it up or you could come in, like I say. And all I'm trying to do is just literally get a little bit of black right there. And then same thing. So this one now, this is important. This one's gonna come back here. So now this can come all the way off. Back to there. Now this here, same thing. I'm gonna kind of put that back there for a second. So same thing, I want to kind of match this up. Boom. So same thing there. We're good to take that off to about right there. I'm just going to pluck it there. I'm going to pluck it there just for a second. Let me kind of move this down again. Hopefully you guys, how's it looking? It's kind of blurry on my screen. Man, I appreciate that, David. That means a lot, my brother, really. Man, I appreciate it. And you guys coming, let me tell you, brother David, that's on right now. Him and his son came all the way down from, it would be, where would it be, David, New York? I'm probably off a little bit, but East Coast for sure. New Jersey or whatever it was. They came for the Albuquerque class. Let me tell you, yeah, Maryland. And, which how far is away from New York? Pretty close, right? They came for the class. Man, what a blessing. Let me tell you. Okay. Same with my brother Chris. Butcher from Cincinnati. So same thing here. I'm going to peel this up right here. I hope my head doesn't keep getting in the way here. So I'm going to peel this back to about right there, right? Same thing. Just come back with your little piece here. About 4-hour drive from New York City, yep. So same thing, just going to do that little shading there. This is what it's about. You got to work your way. You peel up. So in other words, I got to do that one, leave that there to do that shading. You can't peel it because you still need to do this shading. Then you're going to peel it. You're going to park that one there. Same thing. I'm going to come right here. You can't just rip the tape off because then you're screwed. You'll have to go back literally. And let me tell you, if you did, so now I can't peel this one all the way back. Let's say you did peel all this tape off, which I see people do all the time. And man, when I see it, I'm like, man, if they would have only utilized, that there. Now you could go back, you can make a perfect one. Let's say you accidentally did take that tape off. You could go back, make a perfect deal like that would work almost there. Shade a little bit. But it's better you have that green still in there, the nice sharp line. You got to utilize it, So same thing here. I'm going to come in. We're just literally trying to just little bit of shade right there, depending on how dark you want to do. So I'm literally peeling to there. I'm going to park it. You can just park it there. Same thing. We're going to lift this up. Same thing to about right there. Same thing. I'm going to flip this. Boom. Same thing. So now back to this. This one can come all the way up now to there. It's a piece at a time. Once you get it figured out, boom, 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 boom. So same thing here. A little bit of black right there. And then this can come all the way up. And you can see how that just like really looks like it's shaded. And of course, you see how each one looks. I don't know which one you guys like better. You know, we did this, like I say, this one is a little bit more square. This one is a little bit more of a flow. This one is more of a drag turn. So you choose which one you like, and that's the way, that's, you know, there's no wrong to doing it as far as that. And then of course, now we're gonna take this up here. Boom. And then, now this, no, I'm not going to Tammy's paint cult event. Seems like, I don't know how to put it, man. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Looking on your site, I don't see anything like fabric pattern stencil. You have anything like denim pattern? I know that's a good one, like denim. And I'm trying to think what. I got a bunch of lace, every kind of lace you can think of, but it's not on the website. And I do have a sick collection, and a lot of it is for sale too, but I just don't have it posted. So, now this one here, I'm not gonna. We could sit there and, like I say, you could sit there and tape and do whatever. What time are we looking at? 11:03. So we already been going. Oh, 11, already 3 hours. Holy Moses. So let me flip this. Just so it's closer to me. So this, we could do a couple different things too, where we shoot along the edge. Like I say, several different things you could do. And this one, we probably will. I'm gonna go in. So this, you can just shoot right along the edge. Like I say, this is the easiest way. Yeah, airbrush, this would be ideal for an airbrush. You're literally just outlining it. And like I say, you could go in and tape to get those nice crisp lines. I'm gonna come in right there to get the dagger. A little bit darker. The dagger. Depending on how dark you want to get it, you could go back over it several times. I mean, that's up to you. And it's basically, you're just outlining along the fine line. Like I say, this is the easiest way to do anything. No taping, but you kind of miss, you know, the advantage, you get kind of a fade off each line. Personally, I like the crisp, a little bit more crisp. It does take a lot more time, a little more detail. And I mean, each job depends. I mean, there's people that don't pay. I see a lot of people that do, they'll pop out a pattern job in a day. I mean, I used to do it too lots of times. When spraying these designs with airbrushes, does it need to be thinned? So, depending on, David, if it's ready to spray, like the ones I'm selling for the airbrush and for the touch-up guns, man, they're ready to spray. You don't need to reduce them. They're ready to go. You know, if you're mixing your own with inner coat, concentrate, and reducer, you know, it just depends on how much you you want. And of course with the airbrush, it does got to be reduced a lot out. You know, and of course this one I'm using, of course, you know, a touch-up gun. You know, I just dial it down quite a bit. And just depending on how, because you don't want it, like I tell everybody, it will splatter when you have a lot of, that's when there's a lot of concentrate, it will splatter and be kind of spotty. Now certain deals, it won't even matter. Like some of the 3 shade, like that panel that I did, if it's throwing out spot, if it's spotting that, it won't even show up. But like this, you will see the spotting when it's shooting too. And of course, when it's too thick, same thing. You'll see just little specks when there's too much concentrate. And like I say, this just depends on how much. I mean, you could go back and fill it in. And then back to this, same thing. So, and of course this one, like I say, it's a little bit more complicated because we cut each one of those. And of course this needs to be sprayed with black inside in each one of those. And of course this is where an airbrush would come in really good. I'm talking to like dial in. So literally to like kind of come in here a little bit with the black. And of course I'll still make it happen with this one. Just dial it in airbrush mode. Shoot a little bit of black inside here where the ribbon is twisting. Depending whatever, you could throw a little drop shadow. You know what I mean? You can see a little bit of black there. And then back to this. Here's where, because this one, we did all of that cutting. It's a pain in the butt. Let me tell you. It is a pain in the butt. Like, so back to this. Kind of like we were undoing as we went. Now this one, because we had the dagger is going underneath these, you have to sit here and cut every one of these, lift it up. So I'm gonna have to literally cut, and then there's gonna be the other layer of tape. When you're taking off this line, you're gonna have to take that other tape off. So we got that there. And then same thing here. Let me cut here. Let me just cut. There. Lots of cutting this way. Same thing here. That way to do the over and unders. So same thing, I'm gonna lift this up out. So same thing. So I'm gonna shade that. And back to this too. Here's the easy route. Like I say, there'll be times where I'll just shade the black over that. You know what I mean? You could do that if you're trying to take shortcuts out, or you come back in. You come back in either with tape or with wherever I got it here. This same thing. You're just gonna get a little bit of black. Right there. And it gets a little more complicated in those other spots. Let me lay this down real quick here. Might as well do. Of course, let me shoot this right here. Watch. More time. So right there first. A little bit there. And now it'll start coming to life right here. Front fender, yep, getting thicker and thicker to the door. So then now, here's where we're kind of doing like we did with that other one. Working our way back this way. And of course, let me go to right there. I have to lift up there. And in fact, let me, same thing here. Let me just get to right here. You don't want to go too far or you'll end up with a little line there too. Same thing. So this is where, when it gets tight spots like this, it is good if we're using an airbrush. So same thing there. Let me get, oh yeah. You can't move one thing till you finish spraying another one. Okay, so there, now we can tilt this up. In fact, this one I gotta peel. I'll show you here, look at, watch. All the tape we gotta clean out. So you got right here, here. Whenever you do all that, let me tell you, there's a chance for weeble wobble. I call it weeble wobble. Once you start laying on tape over tape, sometimes you'll be able to see, like this ain't bad, but there'll be times where it's like, where it overlapped, it'll be a little weeble wobbly. And this is personally just people, when you're being critical of yourself, but you do want a super clean job. Like I tell you guys, let me tell you guys, so important. You can make or break a job by leak throughs, by not going back and cleaning up areas, by things. I mean, it's like right away. It could be the best patterns in the world, but if you didn't go back and spend that time cleaning up and detailing those places out, man, it's literally worthless. And I don't want to say worthless, but I mean, please listen to me and learn from that. You want to go back and try to clean up as many places as possible. And like I've told you guys, if you're just tuning in, man, you can, if you get a leak through, let's say there's a leak through somewhere here, you can go back with the razor blade and you can clean it. You can literally scrape and clean up. It's not going to hurt anything. You're just scraping the clear off. You know what I mean? Like I wish there was kind of a leak through somewhere to show you guys. But I mean, it's literally, you can always go back and clean, scrape and clean some of those little bleed throughs. This is a little bit more timely. Like I say here, this I'm only going to be able to go to right there. Same thing to about right there. I'm going to get this out. And honestly, I need to be spraying a little more black right there through there. It's not giving the full effect. So we're going to do a few the way I like it. Watch, let's see. This razor blade is done. So now that razor blade has been done. Let me tell you guys, so now I got one. So now I'm going to come back. That way I know this is the newest one I'm using. I just wrap a little bit of tape around it, especially if you're going to be chewing on it. Now, I used to have the razor blade in my mouth. You got to think, man, I used to work literally from Monday till Friday on meth. That meant I was working literally from Monday, no sleep, all the way till Friday. That's just an example. And man, after a while, you have the razor blade in your mouth and you start moving it around. Man, I used to cut my mouth up. It's crazy, stupid stuff, man. Real stupid. Thank you, Jesus. So now, let me see here. So we'll go to there. So now I am going to get it a little bit. Thank you, brother. I am going to do it. I'm going to come back with this on this, just to give you guys another example to get it a little bit more. So I'm taping it versus the cardboard. I'm gonna come in a little bit darker. Okay, now this one I can lift up. Same thing all the way to here. Except for this, I gotta cut. It's under. Boom. This is tedious. It's all because we wanted that dagger. The dagger going behind it. I mean, honestly, it's the only way to do it. Okay. Now, same thing there. I'm gonna come back. Same thing. Boom. Let me tell you guys too, if you have a loved one that is struggling, man, there's still hope. Continue to pray for them. You got to think with me, 40, I'm 54. I didn't get clean till I was 40, literally 42, 2011. Imagine my parents, grandparents praying for me. It's like, man, seeing our house, no running water, no gas, no electricity. You know, my mom making my dad pay the bill because he didn't want the kids would know. Man, it's crazy, man. You got to think God is good. Don't give up. I know it's so crazy out there. Lots of loved ones that, especially this fentanyl stuff, is just crazy. Even the meth, here they're lacing it with the fentanyl. So imagine, it's just crazy, man. So don't give up on praying for people. So same thing, here we go. I'm gonna peel this one back. Peel this one back. So just tedious. Back to this, cut. Cut. Gotta spray all this before we can move the rest. Boom. Boom. Okay. Put that one back. That one there. Have to do that before we can do that one. So same thing here. Yep, definitely. Parents, imagine. Let me tell you, my brother Tom, imagine too. Man, I appreciate it, David. Imagine God had a plan. Imagine, let me tell you, imagine how many grandparents now are raising their kids. Man, it's sad. Like, my parents were ready. My dad was ready to retire. They were ready to, you know, kind of do their thing. And then, of course, God had a different plan. You know, I thank God for my parents. Let me tell you, man, they taught my kids manners. Taught them literally structure. And even just imagine my parents, like, through my whole thing, man, me doing what I did, all the customers I had, the life I was living, my parents were probably in shock, man. Gangbanging, drug dealing, crazy life. And God literally flipped it around for a good thing. Made a testimony out of it. Trust me, and I have my issues, like we all do. But God is good, and He will flip it around and use it for a testimony to encourage the next person. So man, just don't give up on people. Like I say, it's and of course there's a difference too. Let me tell you, some people flip that too. If you got a relative that you just keep pouring into and they keep robbing you, you like allow them in the house because they're homeless and they you know, they're making some bad choices and they've already ripped you off and robbed, stolen things from you. What do you call it? Now there's a balance there. It's like love them from afar, continue to pray for them. There is a balance to that. And it's like, man, like imagine my mom and dad. I know my mom said my dad's like, you know, they're two different people, and it's like my dad's got his strong qualities and my mom would be the one that would be like, man, we need to help them pay the electric bill or the gas bill or whatever. You know, some people would see that as enabling, but man, when you have kids living there, and of course both parents are on meth, man, that's a hard thing. That's a real hard thing, man. And trust me, my house ended up getting raided. My kids got taken away and they ended up at my parents'. You know what I mean? I mean, that was all exactly enabling. And of course, you know, my kids ended up at my parents' permanently. You know, they would come stay with me at the shop. After the house got raided, I moved to my shop. And my parents would drop the kids up on Friday and they would stay with me at the shop Friday, Saturday, and then I'd drop them back up at my parents on Sunday until finally I got my life together and, you know, finally was able to get them back full time. This is just tedious, time consuming, especially cutting all this tape and to get all of this shading. And you could just take all the tape off and it would look cool too, but it's just, you know what I mean? It's just, it's cool when you take the time to do it right. Like I say, all of this cutting, you got to peel all of these out. It's all time consuming. Imagine you're doing a whole car like this. Man, two sides, a roof, a trunk, a hood. My goodness, man. Crazy. Like I say, people ask me, do you love what you're doing? I'm like, man, I hate 85% of what I do. I like when it starts, you've spent 3 months taping on it. I hate that. I hate coming up with it. But I love when you're starting to spray it, untape it, and it starts coming to life. And then I love when it leaves. And then, of course, I love when I see it cruising or at the car show, whatever it may be. Yep, happened to me. That's tough, yep. It's hard. We've tried treatment for him, but he gets out and steals and goes back to the streets. Yeah, Travis, man, let me see, I'm actually raising my nephew's kid because he is living on the streets, hooked on fentanyl. Man, definitely have to lift you up in prayer, my brother. Let me tell you, Travis, man, that's you know what? That's a hard thing, and it's a good thing you're doing, brother. It is, man. These poor kids, literally, these poor kids, man, they didn't choose none of that stuff. You got a parent that's and like I say, I am that parent. Woo! I was a parent that beat my kids. Man, I'm telling you, it's crazy, man. That stuff makes you do some crazy stuff. I'm telling you, my son that does the music, and hey, you guys would too, go follow Alante Vanderslice on YouTube too. He just came out with the song. Speaking of what I'm gonna get to, my son, he's, man, 27 now. Let me tell you, when he is 6 months old, I tried to kill him. Literally, I'd been up 5 days. He was crying. He was had colic, and he used to cry. We used to have to stick him in the bathroom. We'd stick him in the bathroom, in the bathtub, and put blankets in there. And let me tell you, I came home from one of my missions. Man, I strangled him. I choked him. I squeezed him. I shaped him. It breaks my heart to even think about that. I've had to tell him and apologize to him. He is only 6 months old. I'm so blessed that he is, man, he's a miracle. It's like I say, it's one of those things, man, and then to lie about it, to tell somebody, you know, he fell off the swing. I mean, it's just crazy. That stuff's crazy. And I was that dad, so like I say, it's crazy. These poor kids are having to go up choices that their stupid parents have made. And like I say, it's a hard thing to see, and I feel so bad for these kids. It's like, man, and imagine it's just getting worse and worse. It's like the devil is a liar. He's out just, it is horrible, brother. And you know what? You can't force nobody to get clean. We deal with that on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Yep. But forgiveness is great. Sure is, my brother. And like I say, my son, you know, I literally pulled him aside. I told him, hey, son, I literally almost killed you when you were 6 months old. And it's like, man, and of course, my son, he loved me. I love him, man. He forgave me. He knows the shape I was in, but man, it's just, imagine that stuff have you acting like the devil and doing some stupid stuff. And these kids are the one, like I say, my kids would spill water and I would want to just beat them for like spilling water. It's crazy. So tack rag, boom, boom, boom. And hope you guys kind of see. Yeah, I lost my cousin to fentanyl last year, man. It's crazy, man. So, you guys see kind of what you can do. This is just going around the edge. We could have taped it real quick. Could have had some sharp edges, but I mean, that looks cool too. Super crisp there. Like I say, I'm not going to keep you guys much longer, and I'm definitely not going to clear it tonight. But even say with some of this empty space, man, like, I can't handle this empty space. Let me just tell you. So let's just, I'm only going to keep you guys just a minute more. Like, stick with me just for a little bit more. This is how you, I'm one of those ones I see work, and it's like, man, I'm like, man, if they would have only done like a little bit, if a couple of little more lines here would have been like so cool. So I'm just, let me see. So I'm going to kind of do this here. Run that to there. I'm going to do the same thing about right here. Yeah, that's me venting with you guys, you know what I mean? I knew they was coming out this way. Knew that was. Yep. That's funny. Okay, so. And then, I know there's a lot of people on here saying, you know, God is good, man. You just can't give up on people. I know it's hard, and we can't enable it. And, you know, there's times where we got to love them from afar. Just continue to pray for them, and it's sad when kids are involved. That's the sad thing. It's like, man, they have nothing to do with it, and because of the parents' stupid choices. So now I'm gonna come in. In fact, that's just 2 3/4 inches is too much. You guys know me. This is crazy. Okay. Boom. Okay. Then quick. I'm just gonna put one more here. Right through here. We're only gonna shoot part of this too. I'm gonna have to kind of space it out a little bit. In fact, let me do. Me and those empty spaces. Just can't do it. Put down the tape and let the little boy go. Let's see here. Perfect. Let me do this one this way. So it comes to a point. Perfect. Let me do this. This is just going to be a little added detail. Dio, life is tough enough without drugs. Yep, sure is. It is, man, to add just enough craziness. Okay, so now what I want to do, I'm going to shoot, but I'm going to try to stop. I don't want to go anywhere into this, and I don't want to overlap. And this is like key. You got to really go on specific. So, and of course, let me see. Let me do with a little bit of the red. It's so easy to go too far. So I'm going to kind of come in with the red. I'm going to only go to about right there. Stop. Same thing here. Go to about right there, and I'm going to stop. Okay. I'm going to only go right there. I'm going to only go right here. I'm going to only go right there, literally. Then here. I'm going to only go to right there. I don't want to go anymore because I don't want to go into the ribbon. And then I'm just going to shoot a little red, literally right there. Literally right there. Literally right there. Literally right there. I'm going to only go to right there. I'm going to only go to right there. Same thing. Right there. Kind of go back over and make sure. I'm going to go to right there, good enough. I'm going to go one more time across right here. A little bit darker. Okay, now we come back with a little bit of black. In fact, let me take this one off. Okay. Boom. Point to right there. Right there. Same thing, I'm barely gonna get right in there. Right in there. That one I don't even want to touch. Right there. That one I'll crisscross through about right there. Kind of go over this a little bit more. I'm going to kind of just go a little bit with the black right there. And that should be it. Boom, boom, boom. Put a little black along the edge. Okay, I'm gonna take the border off. David Allen, I may not know you, but my prayers will definitely reach you. Anybody who needs it. Amen. Amen. What up, Rob? Finally get to see you in action, Brother John. You're catching the tail end of it, my brother. Kind of go back, make sure too. And then same thing. Thank you, brother. Tack rag it. I'm gonna literally just go in with a little bit of red around the border, take it off, and I'll clear it and I'll show it to you guys next week. But hang in there with me just for a second. Of course, this is kind of the way we did it for this direction, even though there's no direction. The space was bothering me too, Lisa. That's funny. Yep. Man, I appreciate that deal too. I'm looking back, honesty. It's appreciated, brother. I remember. Yep, it's crazy, brother. It is, man. Let's see, what do we got here too? Sober. Been sober for 15 years. Praise be to God, brother Steve. Like I was saying, this is, I gotta say, man, you can't do it alone, man. It's hard, man. You gotta just cut up everybody. It's a hard thing, man. We do Bible study every Monday here in Albuquerque, and it's church to a lot of people. Got a super amazing group, family, it's kids, husbands, wives. Man, it's definitely a blessing. Like I was saying, trust me, do I fall short? I'm gonna fall short. We all have our areas that we fall short, but man, God is good. Of course, I'm just going around this with the red. And of course, like I say, this wasn't even meant to be kind of an art piece tonight. Man, definitely. Kevin, I appreciate that, brother. And let me just tell you, like I say, I appreciate you guys supporting, man.
Where do you find that music for Alante?
For my son, Alante, look it up, Alante Vanderslice. He's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all of that. He just put out a new song. It's a short song. I'm doing the drums on it. I'm a drummer. I did the beats on it for him. He wrote all the music. It's got Glock Samurai did some stuff on it too. He's got a bunch of cool stuff. Most of what he does is just beats. His music, way cool. And like I said, I just appreciate you supporting, man. He could use some likes, some subscribing on his YouTube channel. So Alante Vanderslice, Allante. Man, support. Like I say, I appreciate you guys. You know, like I say, any of the tape, ready to spray candies, Vanderslice shirts, Flake. Man, please support the website. Thank you guys for tuning in. Really means a lot. Like I say, I'll clear this and hopefully, you know, this was a good lesson for ribbons tonight. For the skid marks, the different variations. you know, the twisting ribbon, you know, a little bit fatter twisting. And like I say, man, keep it up. Appreciate you guys sharing with me. I really do am blessed when you guys send me what you're working on. It means a lot. You guys are family. You know, I'm not able to get to some of you guys right away when you guys do talk, you know, and I do leave, thank you, Lisa. I do leave my number in the description. Text me, please, you know what I mean? Yeah, that stuff does dry in 2 seconds, man. It seems like you can touch it basically instantly. And like I say, I appreciate you guys supporting. It means a lot. You know, definitely, like I say, if you're still one of those ones that are afraid to dip your feet in the swimming pool or dive in, you just got to do it, man. You literally got to do it. Are you going to make mistakes? Yes, just like anything. Man, thank you, my brother Steve. Keep up the good work too, brother. I appreciate you. Man, definitely thanks for hanging in there. I know a lot of you guys got to work, man. 8 years for me, what a blessing, Vince. Like I say, you know, doing this work or anything, you're going to fail. You got to get back up and you got to do it again. You just got to, you know what I mean? You fall off that bike, you get back on it, you try again. So even with this artwork, life, whatever hits you guys, you know, you just got to keep pressing forward, man, and reach out to people. Let me tell you, people, you never know, man. There's, you know, you got to reach out. You never know what somebody's going through. If you think they're going through something, reach out, man. And like I say, appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me tell you guys, thank you for supporting. It means the world to me. Thank you guys for hanging in till, man, 11:44. It's even later where you guys are at. I know, Lisa, it would be already almost 1 o'clock out there. Man, so I appreciate it. Let's go out with some prayer. Definitely want to lift up my brother Travis's family and whoever else on here too, man. We appreciate you, man. Prayer does really work, man, and it's all in God's timing, though. Sometimes, you know, God's building a testimony that we don't even know anything about, and so, you know, don't be mad at him. You know, it's all of us that make some bad choices at times, and you know, this is a fallen world. Things happen, man. So love you guys. Let's lift up in prayer out. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you, Lord. First and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of these people that are on the live right now. I just thank you for them, for the fellowship. I want to lift up my brother Travis's family, Lord. I lift them up that you continue to provide everything they need to continue to support their family, mentally, spiritually, physically, financially. Others on this channel too that are going through whatever they're going through, whether they're blessed or going through a trial right now. I pray that you just let them know that you're right there and you're walking right with them, and you said that you will never leave them or forsake them. So that doesn't mean that we're not going to go through trials, bad times, and struggles, and sickness, and whatever it may be. But it does mean, if we believe in you, that you're going to walk with us through those trials. So I just thank you for my YouTube family here. I truly consider them family. I pray blessings over each and every one of them. I just thank you, and we just give you all praise, Lord, for giving us the skills and the talents to do this. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. Man, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. Look forward to seeing you guys next week. Definitely, Martin, man. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you, Vince, again for the lights. Man, appreciate all of you guys, man. Thank you guys. Nolan, all you guys. Let me just tell you too, I marked down the set of 12 the 12 8-ounce ready to sprays. Marked it down to 350 for the next 4 days. So take advantage of that. I appreciate you guys. Anything else, if you need anything, please hit me up. My number is in the chat. If I don't respond right back right away, I will. And just God bless each and every one of you guys. God bless you, Brother Travis. Keep it up. Southwest riding. Amen. God bless you guys.